ते कुवत नसताना सुद्धा पैसा खर्च करणे आणि ते प्रकार खूप वाढत चालले आता अनफॉर्च्युनेटली.
गरीब आणि शेतकरी लोकांच्या आत्महत्येमध्ये सुद्धा हा एक पार्ट आहे.
येस सर येस. कारण काय होतं की सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा राखण्यासाठी म्हणून कर्ज काढून कर्जबाजारी होऊन हा खर्च केला जातो अनफॉर्च्युनेटली. तर ह्या गोष्टी टाळू शकतो खरं म्हणजे.
युट्यूब लाईव्ह आता जस्ट 1 मिनिट पहिल्यापासून सुरू झालाय.
हो गुड.
आता चेक करा सर.
नरेश मॅडम वैष्णव मॅडम जॉईन झाले का रे?
सर प्रिन्सिपल सर झाले का विचारा बरं, मला दिसत नाही.
धरवार सर वैष्णव मॅडम झाल्या का जॉईन? धरपवार सर
दिसत नाही सर वैष्णव मॅडम.
नाही का?
अरे पण ते लोक तिथं आता त्यांना सर वैष्णव मॅडमचं काही झालं आहे का जॉईन वैष्णव मॅडम?
परत 1-2 मिनिटात होणार आहे. मी आताच बोललो फोनवर त्यांच्यासोबत.
बरं
एक चालू आहे त्यांचं होणार, 1-2 मिनिटात होऊन जाते.
बरं. पाटील सर, रॉय सर अनम्यूट करा. तुम्ही अनम्यूट करा पहिले स्वतःला.
रॉय सरांचा कॉल येतोय तुम्हाला, तुम्ही त्यांना रिसीव्ह करा.
ओके. हो.
गुड मॉर्निंग वैष्णव मॅम. हॅलो.
झाले का वैष्णव जॉईन?
हो जॉईन झाले.
नमस्ते.
सर पाटील सर, फक्त रॉय सर राहिले असं वाटत आहे.
हो.
तर रॉय सर जर झाले तर करता येईल आपल्याला स्टार्ट.
त्यांचा कॉल आला होता तुम्हाला?
नाही सर.
ते काहीतरी जॉईन होण्यास प्रॉब्लेम होत आहे म्हणत आहे.
कसं काय प्रॉब्लेम तर नाही व्हायला पाहिजे.
बघा त्यांना कॉल करून बघा,
एक मिनिट.
मेसेज टाका.
सर त्यांचे कॉल पण नाही लागत आहे पाटील सर.
हो.
कॉल नाही लागत आहे. मेसेज टाकतो व्हॉट्सअपला. रात्री त्यांचे मेसेज होता मला.
हा, त्याच्यावर मेसेज टाका.
Popetka sir, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes ma'am, good morning.
Okay, thank you.
गुड मॉर्निंग मॅडम.
Yeah, very good morning, sir. Very good morning.
नरेश आले का सगळे? स्टार्ट करायला हरकत नाही.
फक्त रॉय सर आले.
बरं, नंतर जॉईन करतील का ते?
रिप्लाय पण देत नाहीत.
आपण सुरू करूया का मग?
एक मिनिट. सर लिंक नहीं कर रहे सर. वो आईडी और पासवर्ड है, उसके ऊपर से भी आप ऐड हो सकते हैं सर. नहीं, बाकी सब लोग तो लॉग इन हो चुके हैं सर. तो कैसे? ओके. हाँ. कैसे करेंगे? ओके. हाँ सर. हाँ सर. सर पाटील सर.
सर
त्यांचं लॉग इनच नाही होत आहे म्हणते. मी म्हटलं बाकीचे सर्वांचे तर होत आहे.
हो, मलाही तेच म्हणाले. काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे नेमकं समजून नाही राहिलं.
मी म्हटलं आयडी पासवर्ड वरून तरी जॉईन करा म्हटलं. आयडी पासवर्ड टाकून लिंक जर तुम्हाला बरोबर हे नसेल करत तर.
मी त्यांना पुन्हा पाठवलंय. आता जस्ट पुन्हा पाठवलंय लिंक.
हां.
ऑलरेडी जवळपास सगळे सहभागी झालेले आहेत.
हो बरोबर आहे.
किती लोक आहेत नरेश पार्टिसिपंट?
जवळपास 900च्या जवळपास आहे.
900.
हो.
आता जॉईन झाले 900 लोक?
नाही सर. आपण
सगळे युट्यूबच्या माध्यमातून जॉईन नाही होऊ शकत. आपली 100ची क्षमता आहे.
आपण कमीच लोकांना दिले.
पण सगळ्यांना जॉईन नाही केले.
स्टार्ट करते क्या?
कैसा करेंगे?
पाटील सर स्टार्ट करून द्या. मग सर आले तेव्हा आपण त्यांच्याकडून त्यांचं हे घेऊ, नाही का? सुरू करून द्या. हा, ठीक.
हा स्क्रीन बघा.
यस सर. मी हे करून सर. मी काय म्हटलं?
हा पाटील सर.
हा, गुड मॉर्निंग सर, बोला.
मॉर्निंग. तुम्ही रेकॉर्डिंग करताय का की मला दिलं तर मी सायमल्टेनियस रेकॉर्डिंग करू शकतो? मला फक्त तुम्ही अलाउ करा.
ओके. धारपवार सर. हॅलो धारपवार सर. शिरसाट सर, तुम्ही रेकॉर्डिंग कराल?
हा, फक्त ते अलाउ करा मला.
ओके. धारपवार सर.
एक मिनिट सर. मी फक्त नाव शोधत आहे सरांचं.
शिरसाट सरांना अलाउ करा.
हा. यस. हा शिरसाट सर.
हा. ओके.
यस
थँक्यू सर. थँक्यू.
यस.
धारपवार सर.
पाटील सर करा सुरू तुम्ही.
Hello friends and good morning to all of you. My name is Naresh Patil, Assistant Professor, Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha. I have the great privilege to welcome all of you, especially warm greetings to all. the dignitaries, keynote speakers, invitees, and participants who are the part of this international conference on intellectual property rights, jointly organized by Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha, and Chintamani Mahavidyalay, Ghugus, Chandrapur, Maharashtra, India. First of all, I would like to pay my heartful respect to late Dr. Yogeshji Kumbalkar sir, founder president of our society. I welcome today's chief guest, Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnav ma'am, our college principal, Dr. Chandu K. Popetka sir, Dr. Chandrasekhar Kumbare sir, principal of Chintamani Mahavidyalay, Ghugus, our young and dynamic secretary, Mr. Yuganji Kumbalkar sir, our president, Ms. Vanita Tai Kumbalkar ma'am, Professor Shubhangi Dontulwar ma'am, president of Sri Chintamani Shikshan Prasarak Mandal Ballarpur, president Mr. Swapnil Dontulwar sir. A warm welcome to the keynote speaker, Mr. Samrat Roy sir, resource person Dr. Mahendra Sirsat sir, Dr. Savita Mishra ma'am, and a very warm welcome to all the participants. Today's conference will spark curiosity, create minds for appropriate intentions and innovations to address the challenge existing globally. Wishing a new era being with the delegates and participants. Topic of today's international conference is intellectual property rights, a very important topic to all of us. Dear friends, as we are close behind the doors of our houses due to this pandemic situation, as a teacher and a mentor, we have to perform our role in the field of education. So for that purpose, such kind of conference, webinar are really very helpful and useful for every teacher. I am delighted to share that this conference had more than 900 intellectual across the globe wise, namely India, United States of America, Russia, Tanzania, Pakistan, and Turkey. We have intellectual participants from 25 states in India. This participation shows how effective the minds of those intellectuals are focused to address the challenges. In today's international conference, though we are not physically present under a common roof, but our ideology has connected us strongly even in this global pandemic situation. This shows the power of the intellectuals. No doubts, this international conference shall contribute to global sustainable development goals. I am privileged to introduce and invite Dr. Chanduki Popetka, principal of Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha, Maharashtra. He has 20 years of experience in teaching, research, and fieldwork activities. He has published and presented 27 research papers in national, international level conference. He is a member of BOS, Social Work, Rashtrasanta Tukdoji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur. He is a life member of organization like Maswe, NUTA, Young Teachers Association of Nagpur University, Nagpur. He is one of those persons to connect us all for this international conference. I hand over to Dr. Chandu Popetka sir.
Thank you, Naresh. Good morning to all. I am Chanduki Popetka, Principal, Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha, President of our organization, Honorable Vanita Tai Kumbalkar, our young and dynamic Secretary, Honorable Yuganji Kumbalkar, Professor Shubhangi Dontulwar Madam, President, Chintamani Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Ballarpur, Sri Swapnil Dontulwar, Secretary, Chintamani Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Ballarpur. Today's chief guest, Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnav Madam, Head Postgraduate Department of Education, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Rashtrasant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur. Today's keynote speaker, Honorable Samrat Rai sir, the Institute of Industrial Management, Economics and Trade, Peter, the Great St. Petersburg Polytechnic University, Russia. Today's resource person, Dr. Mahendra Sirsat sir, Associate Professor and Head of Department of Physics, Director, RUSA Center of Advanced Sensor Technology, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad, Dr. Savita Mishra Madam, Vice President, Council of Teachers, Education, Eastern Zone, Principal, Vidyasagar College of Education, Phansi Deva, Darjeeling, West Bengal, Dr. C.K. Kumbhare sir, Principal, Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Gugguls, and today's webinar's coordinators, Professor Naresh Patil sir and Dr. S.R. Dharpawar sir. Today's position of land. I hope you are all well in this crisis. It is a humble request that we all abide by the rule directed by the government. I am happy, friends, that our college and Chintamani College, Guggus, have jointly organized this international webinar. I would first like to thank the founders of both colleges for allowing me to hold a webinar on such an important topic. Global competitiveness has redefined business strategies worldwide, and the focus has certainly shifted to examine how our knowledge resources can reposition our stand in the world market. It means that process of wealth creation is changing from resources based to knowledge based. That is, it now depends on brain power and our ability to create, to sell, to explain, and to solve problems. As a result, in future, the wealth would more and more come out of our brain, and less will it come out of the ground. And the good and services being created by our brain power would be marketed in the global villages. Now, a basic issues to be addressed in that how can this property of knowledge be protected? And prior to this, we need to think that how the knowledge can be converted into property. Since knowledge is abstract that and is not like a car or a house, which is can be looked and secured against theft. If anyone gain knowledge, it does not reduce that available to others. Today's possession of land, labor, and capital are just not enough for a country to succeed. Creativity and innovations are the new drivers of the world economy. The policies adopted by a country shall determine the nation's well-being. Development of a country, intellectual capital is the most important task of this regards. An effective intellectual property right system lies at the core of the country's development strategies. Within knowledge-based innovation-driven economics, the intellectual property system is a dynamic tool for wealth creation, providing an incentive for enterprises and individuals to create and innovate a fertile setting for the development of and trading intellectual assets and a stable environment for domestic and foreign investment. Although India has complied with the obligation of TRIPS by amending the IP laws, certain issues and still needed to be taken care of, and there is a need for a constant thinking over the core issues of IP protection in order to respond to situation arising out of global competition. In today's webinar, the chief guests, the keynote speakers, and the resource persons will be the right guides. We will all experience their knowledge. I am sure you will find the answer to the questions that you have in your mind regarding IPR. Thanking you. Thanks to all guests and all participants. Thanks again. Over to Naresh Patil.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Popetka, sir, thank you very much. Now I would like to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnav ma'am. I dream it a unique opportunity to introduce Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnav ma'am, Head of Postgraduate Department of Education, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, राष्ट्रसंत तुकडोजी महाराज, Nagpur University, Nagpur. Her services in the field of education are recognized national and international level. Professor Rajashri ma'am services are contributed to new education policies in India. Professor Rajashri ma'am believes education is a powerful weapon for human development. So I request Professor Rajashri ma'am to deliver her inaugural and keynote address to the participants. Dr. Rajashri ma'am.
Naresh, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for a nice introduction. First of all, I would like to congratulate the principal of Kumbalkar College of Social Work and the Chintamani College for organizing such a wonderful international webinar, which has a tremendous response from participants across the globe. This is one of the unique opportunity which is given to us by this pandemic of COVID-19. I always believe that every pandemic, every problem always gives us an opportunity. So this is wonderful opportunity we are getting to connect not only at the national level, but at the global level. First of all, before start of my address, I just want to say thanks to the organizers and the management of both the colleges, especially a young and dynamic Lokesh Kumbalkar. I know him very well personally as well. Another very important aspect is related to this webinar, which we have organized. We have taken a very important issue related with the IPR. This India is always known for its innovations and our own style of living and survival. We all believe that due to this pandemic, we are all of a sudden we are stuck to a problem. That what to do, because we have asked to stay at home, and we are heads up to all these teachers that they have created a very good environment to connect online. So we have changed to an offline mode. We all know that when we were started our profession or when we were learning, we were not aware much about the technology. Rarely we had a telephone connections at home also. Now, how nicely our teachers are equipped with this technology. The recent example is this webinar where the 900 people are connected together. So I always believe that adaptation to a new technology will always help us. But one thing is very important for as far as Indian is concerned, that several civilization arises and vanished. But Indian civilization is such civilization which is surviving from ages. We have very old Indian civilization, and the very simple reason of the survival is that our knowledge, our gyan, and transmission of this knowledge from one generation to another generation. This is one of the core because of which we are surviving from ages. We have witnessed any number of civilizations. They came and they vanished, but the core is the knowledge. And now this webinar is focusing on how to preserve and transmit our knowledge from one generation to another generation. As far as India is concerned, this IPR is not a new concept. You must be shocked listening that it is not new concept, but I say that because from ages, our forefathers have created knowledge. They preserved the knowledge and transmitted the knowledge in a very secular manner, in a very, very systematic manner from one generation to another generation. You must be know that we have a very good process of transmission of knowledge, because in our Indian system of transmission knowledge, we have a very good system of Varn Vyavastha, in which we can transmit the created knowledge, whatever kind of knowledge we have created, like maybe related with our building construction, maybe related with our pottery, whatever kind of knowledge we have created, we transmit it in a very systematic manner to next generation through the parampara of Guru Shish or from father to children. So this is one of the wonderful way through which we created knowledge, we expanded knowledge, and we transmitted this knowledge from one generation to another generation. Now, a new concept has emerged across the globe. It is the intellectual property right. A very simple meaning of intellectual, which I can understand that That is, whatever knowledge is created by human beings, that comes under the category of intellect, because for creation of this knowledge, we involve our creativity, we involve our experience, we involve n number of our activities to create such a knowledge. Then this knowledge is created in a very systematic manner. If a person is create a knowledge in a very systematic manner, there is must be need to preserve this knowledge and expand this knowledge. For expansion of this knowledge, of course, we need certain process through which we can expand this knowledge. Now, this IPR concept has evolved across the globe, and this is as far as India is concerned. In our constitution also, there is a concept of preservation of knowledge, not in the form of intellectual property right. But during this, after 1949 or after the 1970s, this IPR has taken up a very big shape, and it has focusing on the three basic aspects, which I could understand that. That is, one is the related with the patenting or industry related matter like patent, trademarks, that industrial operations and whatever the processes. The second aspect is related with the copyrights. Copyrights, that means whatever the knowledge is created by the human beings. That may be if we have created any literature articles, or we write any book, or any process, or anything like a music, like drum, art form, whatever the form comes, which is created by the human being, comes under the copyright. Then another very important aspect is our indigenous knowledge, that we call the geographical location based knowledge, which is a unique in a particular nation, particular geographical condition. So we have to focus all these three aspects. Focusing on all these three aspects is very important, because we all aware that if we want to protect our indigenous, see, in India, right from the beginning, I always believe that Indian society is a free society. We always create knowledge and we always disseminate knowledge, because we believe that when you disseminate knowledge, it will grow. And we always believe in the education of the masses and education of the population. But now the Western concept has arrived, and they believe that if a knowledge is created by a particular person, it is the right of that particular person. That means it is like a property. We have three types of rights. We are all aware that we have a property right, we have our rights as a human being, and another concept came is the intellectual rights. That is, whatever the knowledge or whatever the creation you have created, it should be protected. So this IPR covers all these three areas, and this is one of the way through which we can protect our creations in a different way. But friends, one thing that during these deliberations, you must be learn n number of things about what are the, I have idea about that. I've gone through with the brochure and the keynote speakers, the titles and all, and I know that you will get lot of information related with this. But I just want to say one thing, that along with the copyright, along with understanding this trademark and all with this, the most important aspect is the protection and transmission of cultural and our indigenous knowledge. You must be aware that during this 1999, some people from the US has patented our indigenous haldi and the neem tree, neem and all these things, and we fought a lot for that and created one traditional knowledge resources with the help of the Ministry of Ayush and our ICAR, and all these three organizations are involved, and they have protected and created a nice platform where we can upload our indigenous knowledge and protect it from the patenting. So this is one of the very big threat before us, that the geographical indicators are now this concept of protection of the geographical indicators is very important, because India has a rich tradition, and I always believe that we are very fortunate that we have grown in such country which is full of natural resources. We have n number of variety of spices, variety of herbs, and variety of knowledge which is transmitted from one generation to another in the form of Ayurveda and the indigenous medicines. So protection of all these things is also important. So as far as teachers are concerned or intellectuals are concerned, we should aware that what kind of property, what kind of intellectual properties can be protected, and how we can generate the new knowledge. See, one very important point which I have observed during all these IPR studies, that once we know, see, one concept is very, nowadays, the UGC is also focusing, and the AICT is also focusing that the teacher should go for the patenting. Now, what is the importance and why do the teachers should go for the patenting? Because patenting is basically, it comes under the Industry Act and industrial trade, like patenting, trademarks and all, this industrial designs and all comes under this act. So this patenting is very important for the teachers. Why? Because once you go for the patenting, that means you have to study what are the developments are going on in the field of industry. So we always say that our university graduates do not have employability skills. Our outcome is outdated. But if you see the if you go for the patenting, you will come to know about the recent developments in the field of industrial and in the field of science and technology has been developed. So when we go, if you open the patenting sites, because it is a very good site where you can get all sort of information, how innovations has been taken place, how what are the processes are involved, and what are the, so we can easily find out the lacunas, or we can easily find out the new development area which is lagging, and we can work on that. So it is very good idea that if the teachers are very well versed with the patenting and the rules and regulations, not only the rules and regulations, I always find it is a knowledge repository. This patenting repository is a knowledge repository. We can get in number of ideas and number of knowledge if we well aware about this patenting style and the patenting repositories. So this is one of the way, and I congratulate that you have taken a very good issue where you will deliberate, your deliberations will teach us that what is the patenting and how we can, and I just request the organizers, please see that how we can go and access the patenting sites. This is one of the need, because most of the teachers are lagging in that part. We go and apply for the patenting, and we rarely we get a patent. So if we have to increase our number of patents, of course we should know how to access and how to identify the areas which is not much done. So this is very important aspect. Now another important aspect regarding copyright. Copyright is also one of the very important area which is related with the we write something and we are not aware that these knowledge or these writings are already exist, because now exist on web. It is a global area, global phenomenon, and sometimes whatever the content we develop, whatever the things we write in our papers and all, it comes under the copyrights. Because if we use someone else's work and without giving much weightage to his work, of course we come in the process of trouble. We can say that we put ourselves in the trouble. So knowing about the copyrights, knowing about the utilization of other resources, how to give them proper weightage, how to code them is very important. So I feel that copyrights is also one of the factor, because once we write a book, of course if you write a book, copyrights is with you. So copyrights doesn't require any formal application to the person, but a person who is utilizing these books or other things must aware that what content we can utilize or what content we can not utilize, which is the free resources or which is the free or which is the copyrighted. So this is one of the very important aspect which one has to focus. Now the another, that is the geological indicators. That is also one comes under the IPR, and these geological indicators are very important, because we have, every country has rich resources, that is the natural resources, in the forms of vegetations, in the form of variety of cultural heritage, a variety of art forms. So protection of this variety of art form is also important. See, we have our Ayurvedic system, we have our indigenous system in which we treat the person, and this knowledge is transmitted from one generation to another generation. And I'm afraid about that previously, like at my age, my grandparents, my mother and all people were ready for sharing their knowledge. But nowadays the younger generation is not focusing much on this shared knowledge, and they don't believe that this knowledge is useful for them. But friends, believe me that this keeping this traditional knowledge is always helpful to protect our own culture, our own way of living, because this pandemic proved that India way of lifestyle is very important. Where the West and other developed countries are fighting for their survival, we people are very much find ourselves in safe hand, because of our tradition of utilizing the Indian herbs, utilizing the Indian spices, the way we eat the fresh food, and all these things helps us. So I always believe that protection of our traditional knowledge, our geological indicators, we can say that in IPR language, is very important. So I believe that this conference or this webinar will be a very intellectual webinar. It will fulfill the idea and gives us a new insight to develop the right understanding about these terms and right understanding to protect our own knowledge and to utilize knowledge of others. I must say thank to Professor Chandu Popetka and the Dr. Naresh Patil and all for connecting me with this webinar and giving me an opportunity to be with you and learn a lot from this webinar. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable knowledge and experience with all of us today. Now I introduce the first resource person of today's international conference, Dr. Mahendra Sirsat sir. I am so proud to introduce an ideal teacher like Dr. Mahendra Sirsat sir. Dr. Sirsat sir is currently professor in the Department of Physics. He is a director, Rusa Center for Advanced Sensor Technology, Director, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Kaushal Kendra, Head, Department of Electronics in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad. He was a postdoctoral fellow and visiting scientist at the Department of Chemical and Environmental Engineering, University of California, Riverside during 2007 to 2009. He has served at international level as visiting principal fellow at the University of Wollongong, Australia in 2006. Visiting professor at Hanyang University, South Korea in 2013, and National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, Taiwan. Professor Sirsat has 32 years experience in teaching, research, innovations, and administration. He has 133 research publications in national and international level. He is also a steering committee member in reputed journals. I request Professor Sirsat sir to enlighten us today on this occasion. I hand over to Dr. Sirsat sir, Dr. Mahendra Sirsat sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope I am audible to each one of you.
Yes, yes.
At the outset, let me congratulate and appreciate efforts taken by both the colleges, Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha, and Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Chandrapur, for organizing this kind of international webinar. As it is mentioned by the chief guest of this function, IPR is going to be very, very important and very crucial property nowadays. And therefore, some sort of awareness creation is very much needed. And during this pandemic time, because the beauty of this pandemic time, I mean, this is most unfortunate, is quite obvious, but still, although we are going through very terrible times since last almost more than 3 months, but we can see during these last 3-4 months, most of us got connected with each one of us, right? The connectivity has enhanced like anything. This is because of the technology transformation. And of course, credit goes to the intellectual property as well. So the kind of awareness is very much needed, and therefore I would like to appreciate both the administrative people of both the colleges for organizing this kind of session for creating awareness about IPR. At the onset, let me thanks both the organizers for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share my experiences with all the participants. Chief guest of this function, Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnav Madam, who has nicely elaborated the importance of intellectual property and how the transformation is important, like generation to generation transformation, how the knowledge transformation, information he has already mentioned. Keynote speaker, I hope he is going to join later. There might be some problem. Professor Samrat Rai, who is from the Polytechnic University, Russia. Another resource person, Dr. Savita Mishra Madam. The principal of both the esteemed colleges, Dr. Chandu Popetka sir, Dr. Chandrasekhar Kumbar sir, and very dynamic conveners from both the colleges, Dr. Naresh Patilji and Dr. Ravi Dharavwarji, and all esteemed participants from various colleges, universities across the state, across the country, and across the globe. Very good morning, still, yes, very good morning, everybody. And friend, today, as it is mentioned, I'm going to, let me tell you, I started my career in somewhere in 1988. And since then, it has been almost 32 years in this particular profession. And what I observed right from beginning of my career, that the research scholars, because as a, by the grace of God, I got a wonderful opportunity to, work in various affiliated colleges. I mean, one affiliated college, later on I went to a couple of universities in this country. And then I was really fortunate to be a part of a couple of 3 to 4 foreign universities as well, in various capacities, in the capacity of visiting scientists, research scholars, and visiting professor as well. So while going through all this journey, I was really fortunate to have interaction with research scholars, master students, bachelor students, and faculty members as well. And I have seen them from very close proximity. And whenever I seen them from very close proximity, forget about foreign university. I'm talking, let me start from very, very rural, very small college from rural area. Like the students who are there doing their undergraduation or post-graduation, they always come up with a wonderful, one or other innovative experiment during their, tenure. But unfortunately, since as they are not aware about this intellectual property, somehow they are not able to, protect. Somehow they are not able to encash them. But before I start, let me, with the permission of chair and with permission of organizer, I would like to share my screen, and then it will be easier for you to, yeah. Yes. So I was talking about the experiences which I had with the students. So when I had had a wonderful interaction with students, I came to know that the students are doing one or other innovative experiment during their undergraduation, post-graduation. But unfortunately, since they are not aware of this IPR, what this intellectual property is all about, how it is to be protected, and how it can be encashed. This can be a wonderful source of wealth, but unfortunately we are not aware of that, right? So as a result of that, whatever we are doing, whatever the students are doing at their remote places, it is, it's going to be wastage for them. Of course, they are going to have wonderful learning experience, but only having experience is not going to serve the purpose. We need to, whatever, experiences we have, we need to convert that experience into knowledge, and the knowledge should be converted into some sort of wealth, right? And this is where it is lagging. The same experience I had with the faculty members also, when I had interaction with the many faculty members across the country, like those who are working in affiliated colleges or universities. Like whenever you are working at your place, whenever you are doing some experiment in the laboratory, one or other teacher in every lab, every college, they always come up with some innovative idea to do the experiment. Like whatever experiment that have been included in the curriculum, there would be one or other teacher in each and every colleges, and he is going to have altogether innovative idea, and he is going to implement that, and he is going to show it to the student. But unfortunately, still that efforts are not being counted. That efforts are not being converted into knowledge, and later on, they are not somehow they are not able to convert that into the wealth. Same thing is, if you look at the copyright, this I was talking about patent. If you look at the copyright, unfortunately, I would say is very fortunate that most of the teachers whether it is like the college from metropolitan city or remote place, every teacher, and particularly the teachers from social sciences, they will be having, a wonderful record credits of their, wonderful record of book writing. I'm sure, like whenever I had that experience very like couple of years back when I was leading IQAC of my university, when we were going through the preparation of data for SSR, I was very happy that, whenever I came across the criteria 3, that okay, how many copyright you have with your university. So I was very happy. I was very like excited rather. I thought like most of the teachers I know, they are having a bundle of books with them. I mean, they have written many number of books, like subject related books, poems, and all those books with them, and I'm sure like I will be having overflooding of copyrights with me, right? But unfortunately, when I went to each and every faculty member, I came to know that very few of them were having copyright of their own books. Although they were although most of us, most of the faculty members, most of the teachers were writing many number of books, we have wonderful records with us, but unfortunately, if I ask you like how many copyrights you have, then question will be either no or maybe very few out of like, even if you are having like 20 books with you, maybe you are having 1 or 2 copyright with you. The reason for that is we are not aware. क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, हम किताब तो लिखते हैं, but once we write the book, we always go for very like easy option, right? So we always choose the publisher who is going to provide us free copies, or who is going to publish our book free of charge, and then later on we never know how much money he is going to earn, right? He is earning. We are least bothered because we are happy with that, with that recognition only, that we have published these many number of books. I mean, why I'm referring this, like during these last 32 years, what I seen is, since we are not aware, I said we because I am also from the same fraternity, since we are not aware of this intellectual property, unfortunately, we could not convert this property into wealth. So we need to have, therefore, this kind of creation of awareness is going to be very important. And I'm sure I have seen many brochures and in many webinars during this pandemic time. There have been like many, there are many colleges, they have conducted this kind of awareness session. Today is not only awareness, we'll be focusing on drafting as well, because today I will be highlighting how this intellectual property is going to be important, and how, because let me be very honest, it would be very difficult for me to cover all the aspect of this IPR. So I will be focusing mainly on patent and copyright, and then like almost 30 to 40% of my allocated time I will be spending on how to draft at least provisional specification. Forget about complete specification, because I may not be able to give you the detailed glimpses of the complete specification, but at least I'm going to tell you how the provisional specification can be drafted in due course of time. So to begin with, let us disclose because like whenever we are talking about property, first of all, let us disclose what kind of properties we have. Okay, so let us disclose. So we are going to have fixed properties. We are very aware of this. We have land, we have flat, we have bungalow. These are called like immovable properties, a fixed property, a stationary properties, which cannot be transferred from one place to another. And we have got portable properties, right? Like we have a smartphone, two-wheeler, this laptop, like four-wheelers, furnitures, these kind of portable properties we have. So these properties are called as tangible properties. Why this is called tangible? Because the tangible means the property which can be touched upon, which has got physical existence, right? That is what we call as tangible property. And one of the beauty of this tangible property is owner enjoy exclusive right over the same. This is one of the beauty, right? Like for example, if I'm having like a four-wheeler with me, and if I want to sell four-wheeler to my friend, and if I go ahead and said, okay, my friend, this is what my four-wheeler is, and I'm going to write it down on one plain paper that I'm handing over this four-wheeler to you, and this is yours now, right? So he's not going to trust upon me, right? He will be very outspoken. He will be coming to me and he will say, okay, nothing doing. Let us go to RTO office and have a proper registration. It means like whenever we are selling and whenever we are buying these tangible properties, we are very much sure, we would like to be very much sure that we should have an exclusive right over this property, right? We are very much concerned about the exclusive right? This is the beauty of this tangible property. However, the intangible properties, which I am going to tell you now, like we are very least bothered about the intangible properties. Like what is the intangible property then? The property which cannot be, which may not have physical existence. Of course, byproduct is going to be physical existence, but property on its own cannot be, cannot have a physical existence, right? Which we cannot touch. What is this property? This is what the intellectual property is all about. The property which is represented by, product that is outcome of human mind and intellect and creativity, right? So whatever creativity we have, whatever intellect we have, out of that, whatever it is creating, it could be book, it could be research article, it could be product, it could be process, whatever, right? And some of the examples of invention, I'm going to tell you the difference between invention and innovation as well. Innovation, it could be like original design, trademark, artistic creation, geographical even under the geographical indication, you can have some sort of right on with you, like that can be considered as asset. But unfortunately, we never consider this as an asset. We usually consider, this is how, unfortunate part is, I will not recently, long back, I gone through that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Many of you must have gone through that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What is the difference? I gone through again, because long back, maybe when I was doing my post-graduation, I still remember I gone through that book. But very recently, I gone through that Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, which was written by one of the very successful businessman, Robert Kiyosaki. He talked about like asset. He talked about the difference between poor man and rich man. A rich man always, whatever income the rich man is having, he always spend that income. He always, invest that income for creating assets. But as far as the poor or ordinary man, you individuals are concerned, what we do, usually whatever income we have, we always, use that income for creating liabilities, right? Like kind of luxury items like four-wheeler car, like home, like this is again debatable, right? Truly speaking, whenever we are constructing house, by the mercy of, bank loan, whether it can be considered as asset or, liabilities. Truly speaking, it is liabilities, truly speaking. So the rich man always create asset, and that whatever income he is generating, whatever, revenue he is generating from asset, is going to be used for having the luxury item, right? However, the poor man always use his income for purchase of luxury item, and he is keep on adding the liabilities only. So unfortunately, this invention, this intellectual property, although it is asset, so far we were not aware. And therefore today, first of all, I'm going to create some sort of awareness that this is going to be asset for us. This asset can be like wonderful for us to develop a wonderful wealth out of this. And then, then I will be telling you how patent can be drafted and all those details. Whenever we are talking about assets, like as it is mentioned by, as I mentioned about the tangible properties, like we always have the exclusive right of the tangible properties. Similarly, we need to have some sort of means, rather legal, some means that can be used to safeguard this intellectual property. And whatever intellectual mean, whatever right which we are going to use to safeguard our intellectual property is nothing but the intellectual property right. So today we are going to we are going to discuss on the various issues of intellectual property right. So let me first of all tell you the difference between invention and innovation. Invention is always a creation of product or introduction of process for the first time. Like whenever you are first time creating some sort of product or some sort of process, it is being referred as innovation. But wherever, like as far as the innovation is concerned, whenever you have an improvement or a significant contribution to existing product or process, that is what we call as innovation. It means whenever you are developing product first time or processes first time, that can be referred as invention. And whenever you are having significant improvement in your already existing product or already existing processes, that is nothing but innovation. Truly speaking, over the time, this definition has also been modified. Truly speaking, nowadays innovation means like it should be novel, like whatever improvement you are doing, that should be novel, then it should be non-obvious and it should have some industrial application. It's not only that, because this is what the patent talks about. The requirement of patent is the idea should be novel, it should be non-obvious, and it should have some industrial application. And nowadays, let me tell you, my friend, truly speaking, innovation means like it's not only application. So whatever, the stakeholders, whatever customer you will be focusing on, unless you satisfy the full expectations of the stakeholders, this innovation, the new product can never be considered as innovation. So nowadays, in present context, whenever you are talking about innovation, it means it should be novel, non-obvious, have industrial application, and you should have a processes, that continuous processes rather, to fulfill the expectation of your stakeholders like customer. Then only it can be referred as innovation. Now, let me tell you, because I'm going to quote you some example of invention, like for which we are very much familiar with. Like हमें पता है कि थॉमसन एडिसन ने इलेक्ट्रिक बल्ब को इन्वेंट किया था 1879 को. अलेक्जेंडर ग्राहम बेल invented the first practical model of the telephone in 1885. Marconi has invented radio in the year 1890. These are some of the milestones, I would say. Wright brother have invented the first world successful motor operated airplane 1905. And there are some notable individual contribution as well. Like whenever we are talking about tabla, तो हमें उस्ताद जाकिर हुसैन याद करेंगे हम. पेंटिंग, लाइक जब भी हमें पेंटिंग दिखाई देगी तो एम.एफ. हुसैन साहब दिखाई देंगे. Singing, although there are many singers nowadays, but still in singing, Lata Mangeshkar has created her own space, right? Similarly, A.R. Rahman, वो कहते ही वो musician दिखाई देंगे, and obviously whenever you are talking about missile, APJ Abdul Kalam. So these are some of the examples I have quoted. But in continuation with this, as I mentioned earlier, like there are many teachers, many faculty members during the day-to-day college or university work, they are coming up with some innovative ideas, some innovative experiment. But unfortunately, due to because of awareness, lack of awareness, we are not able to encourage this. Number one. Number two, like the many faculty members, as I mentioned earlier, they have wonderful record of books writing, publications, but unfortunately, very few of them will have the copyright, and they could convert that into the wealth, right? Now the question is why I have quoted these examples, because whenever we talked about invention, it's not only invention. Like once you have invented something, you need to protect that. Unless some of them have protected and they become a rich individual in the country, and many of us have not somehow, due to lack of awareness, could not protect those intellectual properties, and as a result of that, we could not convert that into the wealth. So intellectual property is like another asset. As I mentioned earlier, it is like another tangible. This is, although it is intangible, but this is like an intangible tangible asset. It can be bought. Like a tangible asset, it can also be bought, it can be sold, it can be mortgaged, it can be licensed, it can be exchanged. But we are not aware. जैसे कि हम किताब लिखते हैं, तो हम क्या करते हैं कि एक किताब, कोई एक पब्लिशर है, एक बार हमने लिख दिया किताब, एक बार पब्लिश कर दिया, throughout life he is going to sell. Throughout life, हमें पता भी नहीं वो कितना पैसा कमा रहा है, पता भी नहीं. Rather, अगर आपके पास कॉपीराइट होता तो क्या कर सकते थे आप? You could have sell that copyright only for 5 years duration, right? 5 साल के लिए आप सस्ता बेचिए. Once you became a very famous author, then you can dictate the terms, right? Once you have become famous author, later on, because you did that transaction only for initial 5 years. Later on, you can change. You can mortgage that, you can license that, you can exchange that, whatever. So provided we need to be very sure about this, right? If the owner acquires legal right over the property, he becomes exclusive owner. And then we are talking about, that is why we are talking about IPR today. So IPR is going to provide us legal right, and it's going to provide us possible rewards as well. Possible rewards is not only recognition, it's not only social recognition, rewards in terms of money as well. That is why it may become a source of national wealth. Because if you are becoming rich, obviously your country is going to be rich, right? So therefore, we need to be very sure about what kind of intellectual property we have, how to protect that, and how to convert that intellectual property into wealth. So whenever we are talking about intellectual property, there are two different kinds of intellectual property: industrial property and copyright. So as far as industrial property is concerned, we can have patents, designs, trademarks, and geographical indications. But like this is as I mentioned earlier, this topic is going to be very, very vast. It requires at least a couple of days to finish. Let me tell you, my friend, if you really want to study this in detail. And therefore, today I will be focusing only on one of the aspects of industrial property, patent. And as far as copyright is concerned, there are many, like writings, books, research article, which is very much close to the teacher fraternity. So I will be spending little time on, the copyright, which can come from, our writing of books and research article. Musical work, dramatic works, painting, drawing, sound recording, broadcast, artistic performances, all can be copyrighted. There are three different kinds of the major IPs, like functional and technical invention, which comes under Patent Act 1970, which was amended later on in 1999 and 2005. The purely artistic work, as I mentioned earlier, like particularly as per the teacher fraternity is concerned, we can focus on the books and research article, which comes under Copyright Act 1957 originally, and later on amended 5 times in 82, 84, 92, 94, and 99. And as far as symbol, logo, word, sound, color, design, all those are concerned, it comes under trademark, right? Trademark Act 1999, and which was also amended later on 3 times in the subsequent years. Let me spend some time on copyright to begin with, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि हमारे teachers जो क्योंकि today, because for this today audience, I know the most of us are in the the colleges and universities, right? So copyright and patent is going to be our area of concern. So I will be focusing more on copyright and patent only, right? So what is copyright? Copyright this is a definition by Oxford English Dictionary: exclusive right given by law for certain terms of years to an author, composer, or his assignee to print, publish, and sell copies of his original work. देखिए, क्योंकि हमारे पास copyright इसीलिए नहीं है, इसीलिए we cannot publish that, we cannot print that. Even if you are author, you don't have right to take the print. Let me tell you, my friend, it will go against you will be violating copyright, because जब आप किसी कोई पब्लिशर आपका किताब पब्लिश करता है, तो what he is going to do? He is going to take the copyright by his name. So sometimes you are going to get royalty maybe for 1 or 2 years. कभी-कभी देता है वो, लेकिन most of the time we don't get royalty as well. But if you are having copyright with you, let me tell you, my friend, you can dictate the terms. आप रॉयल्टी क्लेम कर सकते हो कि भाई 5 साल के लिए मुझे इतना रॉयल्टी चाहिए, उसके बाद मैं डिसाइड करूंगा कि मुझे क्या करना है. बट फॉर इनिशियल 5 years, बिकॉज यू कुड बी इन द बिगिनिंग फेज ऑफ योर करियर. उसके लिए कुछ मेरे सजेशंस है फॉर द टीचर्स दोज हु आर राइटिंग बुक्स. लेट मी टेल यू व्हाई, लाइक मतलब क्यों मतलब हमारे किताबों का कॉपीराइट हमारे पास क्यों नहीं होता, उसका रीजन मैं बोलता हूँ. व्हाट वी यूजुअली डू, वी स्टार्ट राइटिंग द बुक्स. once we finish the book writing, and once we have once we do the proof corrections and all that, then we keep on searching the publishers, right? And we approach publisher that who is going to publish your book. And the publisher who is going to publish your book free of charge, you are going to most likely we are going to prefer that publisher, right? तो क्या होगा, अभी प्रॉब्लम कैसा है कि पब्लिशर ने आपको कमेंट किया, क्योंकि आज तो अभी अननोन थे आप, you were not very famous, आप बिल्कुल नए थे, आपकी कोई रिकॉग्निशन नहीं था, आपकी कोई इमेज नहीं थी मार्केट में, तो उन्होंने क्या किया, आपको फ्री ऑफ चार्ज आपका किताब पब्लिश कर दिया. नाउ अभी क्या होगा उसके बाद में, like maybe for आपको लगेगा कि यार this is going to be good opportunity for me because he is kind enough to agree to publish my book without charging anything, so you will be excited and we are going to hand over the entire right to him. वो कॉपीराइट पे अपना सिग्नेचर, आपका सिग्नेचर लेगा, खुशी आप सिग्नेचर कर देंगे. एंड लेट मी टेल यू माय फ्रेंड, इफ आपका किताब अगर अच्छा है तो विद इन 1 or 2 years इट कैन बिकम पॉपुलर, राइट? तो बिकॉज उसके पास अपना खुद का नेटवर्क होगा, एंड देन वंस इट इज पॉपुलर देन ही कैन स्टार्ट अर्निंग मनी. रादर व्हाट यू शुड डू, लेट मी टेल यू माय फ्रेंड, दिस इज व्हाट आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग नाउ, after 32 years of experience. Obviously I am also from the same fraternity, right? I learned through the experiences only. तो अभी क्या करना चाहिए आपने, बिफोर स्टार्ट राइटिंग बुक्स, यू नीड टू राइट द कंटेंट फर्स्ट. how many like content, how many chapters you are going to have, what would be the scope of each and every chapter. Write preface right in the beginning, introductory remark, and send it to the publishers. Not only one publisher but many publishers. Most importantly, आपको क्या करना है, सबसे important ये करना है कि whenever you are writing a book, you are going to focus on one particular area, right? So you need to anticipate, like whenever you are reaching to the audience, first of all, you need to identify who is going to be your audience. Whenever you are writing book, you need to identify who is going to be your audience, right? First of all, you identify the audience. Accordingly, you start writing your book, and audience, you should anticipate कि when this book reaches to audience, what kind of benefit the audience is going to have. You please anticipate that, the benefit. If you are anticipating benefit, and if you are mentioning it in your introductory remark, and if you are sending it to the publisher, let me tell you, my friend, looking at this content, looking at your own like CV and your own credibility, there will be more than one publisher looking at you. There will be behind you, that everybody will be start asking you, right? But let me tell you again, once you finish your book, don't go ahead and hand over the entire book to any publisher. Protect it with Copyright Act. Go ahead and submit the copyright. Have copyright with you, and then you can sell the copyright, right? If you start doing this, let me tell you, my friend, you can earn the credibility. At the same time, you can earn money as well. So this kind of approach need to be adopted. Unfortunately, most of teaching fraternity, most of us, I would say, because I'm also from same fraternity, हम लोग ये करते नहीं. If you start doing like this, research article का तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि because whenever you are sending research article, आपको पता होगा कि वो जो जर्नल का एडिटर जो है आपसे कॉपीराइट पे सिग्नेचर ले लेगा, because there you don't have any option, because in that journal volume it's not only your own article, वहां पर बाकी सभी रिसर्च स्कॉलर के भी आर्टिकल रहेंगे. So there I can understand that you have to assign copyright to the publisher of that particular journal. That is fine. But as far as book is concerned, you are sole author, right? You are sole authority. There you should not do any compromise. If you start doing this, let me tell you, my friend, you can start earning credibility as well as the wealth. So what we can protect, as I mentioned earlier, original literary, which include books, which include poems, which include research articles, dramatics, musical, artistic work, films, movies, sound recording. If you are having that sort of like a skill with you, you can go ahead and do that, right? So there are many options available. So as far as the terms is concerned, it depends on nature of how long the copyright. Once you have the copyright with you, how long you are going to have that right. It depends on nature of work, but most of the time it is going to be lifetime of the author plus 60 years. You can see, once you have copyright, during your entire lifetime plus 60 years, you can have the copyright. And as far as the broadcast reproduction is concerned, it will be around 24 years. What kind of literary work? Let me tell you more, because I'm going to focus this on more like novels, poems, short stories, books of any subject or of your interest, research articles, and computer program. Those who are from computer, discipline, whatever programs. Like I saw many teachers, even many master students, they are coming up with their own algorithm, own program to deal with some problem, but somehow they are not getting copywriting it. They are not getting copyright of the own creation, right? So you need to understand that databases. There are many students, they are creating databases, because in my university, fortunately, like when I was IQC director, I came across many students. When we used to have interaction with research scholar, I came to know that many research scholars, they come up with wonderful algorithm, computer students, but somehow they were not aware that it can be protected. Unfortunately, like if you are having the musical department, many students always have some innovative ideas of singing, innovative ideas of composing, that need to be copyrighted. It's not like you cannot leave it in between. And then as far as copyright computer software is concerned, you can have the program manuals, punch cards, magnetic tape, computer printouts to computer programs. And this is all about the copyright. Now I'm comparing this with patent. The title is the why patent don't work, right? Like one of the disadvantage of patent is patent always confirm the monopoly, right? It always exclude the competitor from conducting research. What is the reason? The reason is, whenever if you want to file patent, it should be novel, it should be non-obvious, and it should have industrial application. Moreover, whenever you are filing patent, like for example, if you are filing patent, let us say you come up with one particular device, right? One particular device, and if your jurisdiction is India, so across the country, nobody else can do that kind of research. I mean, he can do that, but he cannot convert that into the product if you are having patent. So patent is going to provide you some sort of monopoly. So public interest would be ensured if every corporation could prevent anytime, anywhere. Because, again, I'm going to tell you this later. Whenever you are filing patent, you can file patent in the jurisdiction of India. You can file patent in the jurisdiction of beyond the India as well, right? You can decide what would be jurisdiction of your patent, and you can patent it anywhere, anytime, anywhere. It means for 20 years, because most of the time you are going to have right with you for another 20 years. Once it is granted, for another 20 years is going to be your own monopoly, right? So in that way, it's going to hamper the public interest. And most importantly, no guarantee for independent researcher that their efforts will pay off. The reason is, we never know. Like if you are working only for patents, you never know whenever you will be submitting patent. By that time, you will come to know that it is not novel. Somebody else have already submitted, right? And therefore, the copyright can be option for that, because here you don't need to have a kind of inventiveness. For copyright purpose, you don't need to have the inventiveness. Without inventiveness, also you can go ahead and submit your copyright. Now, during this technology, because there has been tremendous development in technology also, everything is available on tip of our finger, and as a result of that, infringement becomes a very common problem in every aspect, right? And therefore, the copying, the factor which are determining infringement that you need to understand. I'm going to show a little bit about this. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. Like whenever we are talking about copying, nowadays, like whenever you are writing paper, also research paper, there also you need to be very sure. You need to be very sure about the plagiarism, right? So whenever you are submitting paper, you need to check your plagiarism, your self-plagiarism, as well as the normal plagiarism as well. So as far as copying is concerned, copying can be a casual. It can have a causal connection. It can have subconscious connection. It can have indirect copying as well. Still, it will be considered infringement. As well as substantial copying is concerned, like there are two examples, like unaltered copying. Unaltered means like you have taken paragraph to paragraph as it is, not entire article, but like one paragraph on one article, another paragraph on another article, and this is how you have constructed your own article, right? Or extent of defendant alteration. It means like 100%, like you have not changed anything. Right, so this kind of infringement is taking place nowadays. But since it is, right, since this is like, if you are having copyright with you, obviously nobody can, steal your copyright, and nobody can steal your intellectual property. This is what it is important. What kind of right you are going to have? We are talking about copyright. What kind of right? There would be two different kind of right. One, moral rights, which will protect personality of author. Other is going to be economical right, which will bring you economic benefit. That is very, very important. What are moral right? Right of authorship, right of integrity, like digital manipulation, right of display, right? Truly speaking, like if आपका किताब है, आपने अगर किसी पब्लिशर के नाम अगर कॉपीराइट है, आप डिस्प्ले भी नहीं कर सकते, आपको कभी पता नहीं रहता, like you don't have right to display also. But if you are having copyright with you, this is going to be the moral right you can have. You can do the digital manipulation as far as the digital copy is concerned, and you can have the display of the books which you are having with you if you are having copyright. As far as economical rights is concerned, this is very, very important. Right of reproduction. This is very important, making copies. Like today, let us say you have got 100 copies. Tomorrow you can have 1000 copies. That is with you. But if you don't have copyright, you cannot do it. Right, you have to beg to the publisher that, okay, please go ahead and have the more number of copies, and you are not going to get anything out of that. Storage in computer memories, you can have the digitized form and sell it again, right? A right of distribution, issuing copies, you can have the digital distribution, you can have a digital version of the book and you can sell it. Right of communication to the public performance. Whatever book you have written, for example, you can have the public performance. Otherwise you cannot do. You see, बहुत बार ऐसा है, हमें पता नहीं रहता. हमारा खुद का किताब है, मान लो आपने कोई एक किताब लिखा है, and then you want to have the public performance. If you don't have copyright, you cannot do it. You have to have a proper permission from your publisher. Otherwise, you cannot do it. Otherwise, he can sue you in the court of law. Let me tell you, my friend. So we have to be very careful about that. Internet communication. Then adoption of right, conversion into another form. Like let's say from literary to drama. For example, you have book in literary form, you can convert into drama. You can do it. You can condense it. Let us say, for example, you have got 400 pages book. You want to make it very condensed form. Another version, a condensed form. One is 500 pages. Other is maybe like very condensed form, 100 pages book. You can do it if you are having with you. Picturization, comic format. That also can be done if you are having copyright with you. Right to make cinematograph or sound recording. Translation like Marathi mein hai, Hindi mein kariye, Hindi mein hai, English mein kariye. Any languages you can do. Rental, you can rent. Release right to original artistic work. I mean, that also can be done. Resell, I'm talking about resell. Then as far as ownership is concerned, if you are having, if you are talking about literally, author is going to be owner. Drama, dramatistic is going to be owner. Music, composer is going to be owner. Artistic work, artist is going to be owner. Like for example, painter, architect. Photographer is going to be owner. Author of computer program, person who causes the work to be created. Movie producer owner होते हैं. Sound recording के लिए producer होते हैं. But there are certain exceptions as well. Let us say you are employed person, right? So if you are employed in newspaper, although you are writing, you are drafting news, but the owner is going to be employer, the owner of that newspaper, right? Photograph, painting, cinema for valuable consideration, person who pays the money. Let us say you have developed wonderful, like painting, or you have developed one movie, for example, but like somebody pays the money for that, so he is going to be owner of that, right? So there are some certain exception. Lecture deliver in public, the person who is delivering lecture. Government में job करते हो, आपने, let us say you are working in census, right? You have collected some data, census data, and you have your own interpretation, right? But still, although you have interpreted it on based on your own skills, right? Still, you cannot be owner of that because you are working for the government, because you are paid person, right? Government is going to be owner of that. If you are working in public undertaking, the public undertaking, like for example, university is going to be owner. If you are working for international, like for example, WHO. If you are like WHO employee and you are doing some important survey of, let us say, COVID-19, right? Out of survey, you come up with your own interpretation. But since you are working for WHO is going to be owner of that property. You are not going to be owner because you are paid person. So there's another example, like जैसे कि मान लो आपका student है, आप apprentice के लिए आप student को भेजते हो किसी industry में. So whatever outcome you are going to have, the teacher is going to be owner of that outcome, right? Question paper setter होगा, and like that, right? And as far as the secure in copyright is concerned, आप अगर copyright देखोगे 1975 amendment serial number 44 और 45 में आपको details उसका मिल जाएगा. And as far as the charges is concerned, there are 5,500 rupees, right? This is for license to republish for all literary work, because I'm talking about only the charges of copyright which is related to a teacher fraternity, right? This is for the license for republish 5,000 work, and for having the copyright 500. So 5,500 is only charges. You have to apply to Delhi office for as far as the copyright is concerned. Okay. Now, let me focus more on patent now, because patent is going to be one of the very important topic. Now, what is patent? An exclusive right granted by the government to the applicant who discloses his, her, or their invention. Right? So it could be like one individual, it could be a group of people, right? Or you can assign to, like on behalf of you, somebody can submit a patent, right? But the convention can be, moreover again, patent can be granted only for two different things, right? One is product, or it can be processes, right? So let us say for a computer program, you cannot have patent. You can have copyright, but you cannot have patent, right? For algorithm, you cannot have patent. For book, you cannot have patent. For research article, you cannot have patent. But for product and processes, right? I am going to tell you what the product means. Like, let us say you have developed one device. You have developed one device, which can calculate some very important computation, right? So this is physical device, right? But whenever we are talking about device, it should be new, novel. It should be non-obvious. Non-obvious मैं बताऊंगा आपको क्या होता है, and it should have industrial application. Similarly, processes. Processes means, for example, I'm in steel industry, right? I'm working on one particular material, right? So what I'm doing, by certain combination, by changing the composition, I come up with all sort of different properties of the material. That composite material is going to be altogether different, okay, and the properties is going to be different. So what I did, I have come up with process. I'm least bothered about the product, because the product may be known product, but this process is new, right? So that you need to understand, like whenever you come up with invention, you need to understand whether you can claim patent for product or process. That you need to understand properly right in the beginning. Now the first is it should be new. Now we know, like most of us, whenever we are submitting papers, research paper to any journal, novelty is going to be one of the key parameter which is going to be tested by the reviewer. Novelty, whenever we are talking about novelty, then you can ensure novelty of your work by doing a rigorous literature review, right? Similarly, here also here is not literature review, here the patent review. Whenever you are talking about novel, you need to do a quick search of patent. I'm going to tell you the website as well, how to do the quick search of patent. So far, whenever you are the date on which you are claiming, at that time you should be a very first person to claim that kind of invention, right? Either new, altogether new, or you are proposing, or you are claiming some altogether or a significant improvement in some of the properties by doing changing one or two parameters, right? Then it should be non-obvious. Non-obvious का मतलब मैं simple language में आपको समझाना पसंद करूंगा. Let us say we have got gulab jamun. We know gulab jamun always taste sweet, right? gulab jamun मीठा होता है. मान लो मैंने अगर उसमें मिर्ची अगर भर दी तो क्या होगा? It's not going to be sweet, right? तीखा लगेगा. So it's going to be novel, right? Gulab jamun तीखा कर दिया, is going to be novel, right? So you are going to test the test of novelty. So it is novel altogether. जितने भी गुलाब जामुन है सब मीठे हैं. My gulab jamun is तीखा, right? So तीखा लाल जो होता है ना उस टाइप का, right? But what about non-obvious? It is going to be like non-obvious means what? जब आप देखिए non-obvious test जो है ना कौन करेगा? The person who has got expertise in that area. The person who has got expertise in that area, he is going to be the test of non-obviousness. तो जो सेफ होगा उसको तो पता रहेगा ना, वो कहेगा क्या बेवकूफ बना रहा है. अगर गुलाब जामुन में आप मिर्ची भरोगे तो तीखा ही लगेगा. It is obvious. It's not non-obvious. So although it is novel, it is going to fail the test of non-obviousness. So therefore, you need to have the novelty as well as non-obviousness of your researcher, of your investigation, of your invention, and then it should have industrial applicability. Industrial applicability means it should have some sort of application, one or other application. Whatever product you have, you need to show that this product is going to be useful for this and this cross section of the society. Unless you do this, your patent is not going to be granted. So this is similar, like whether that particular person has some credibility in that area. The same thing is here: novelty, non-obviousness, and whether it has got social relevance in terms of industrial application, whether that can be used to resolve some unresolved issues of the society, right? That kind of industrial application is going to be there, is going to be expected by the patent office. And in lieu of disclosure of invention, government provides legal protection for a limited period of time for your invention. It is going to be usually 20 years. So once it is granted, you are going to get the monopoly of that particular product for over the 20 years of time. This is territorial right in the country where it is granted. So if it is granted for India, so you can have only jurisdiction within India. आप इंडिया में कोई कॉपी उसका कर नहीं पाएगा. Okay, आप infringement में खिलाफ आप कोर्ट में जा सकते हो. But in other country they can do it. So for that purpose, I am going to tell you how to protect that. Now, what kind of protection we can have? No patented invention can be commercially made, used, distributed, sold without patent owner consent. That is very, very important. मैं वही बता रहा था कि हमारे बच्चे क्या करते हैं कि बेचारे बच्चे प्रोडक्ट तो करते हैं, लैब में तो बताते हैं, कुछ कंपटीशन में बताते हैं, जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट लेवल, सेंट्रल, इंडिया लेवल की कंपटीशन में प्राइज भी लेते हैं, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगर पेटेंट उनके नाम नहीं रहा, ये प्रोटेक्शन अगर नहीं रहा, तो other can copy it and they can commercially use it and they can create wealth, wonderful wealth out of this. And therefore, अगर patent आपके पास है, तो nobody can commercially exploit, right? Patent rights are usually enforced in the court that in most of the system hold the authority to stop the patent infringement. जब भी मान लो आपके पास अगर पेटेंट है और आपको पता चला कि somebody is doing some sort of infringement, you can go to the court of law and you can have the complete, you can ask him to recover. Let us say for example आपका कोई प्रोडक्ट है जिसका पेटेंट आपके पास है, किसी XYZ बंदे ने वो पेटेंट का वो आइडिया को यूज करके कोई प्रोडक्ट बनाया and then he got crores of rupees, right? You can get those crores of rupees back to your credit if you go to the court of law. And at the same time, conversely, the court can also declare patent invalid upon the successful challenge by third party. It means whenever you have the patent granted, it is open to everybody. Anybody can challenge. He can go to the patent office and he can challenge your invention. And if he is successful in getting, if the patent office accepted his challenge, then your patent can be revoked, right? It can be cancelled also, right? So that you need to be very careful about. You need to be well aware of it. ओनर हैज राइट टू डिसाइड हु, जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि आप उसको आपके पास रख सकते हो, सेल कर सकते हो, किसी को दे सकते हो, राइट? आप किसी को लाइसेंस कर सकते हो, इट कैन बी सोल्ड, इट कैन बी, एंड बट वंस इट इज, एज लॉन्ग एज ड्यूरिंग दिस 20 years ऑफ टाइम, यू कैन डू वट एवर यू वांट. आप खुद, जैसे कि मान लो आपके पास फॉर एग्जांपल कोविड-19 का आपने कुछ वैक्सीन डेवलप किया, राइट? सो व्हाट यू कैन डू, you need not sell that. You have patent with you. You can start producing, right? You can start production on your own, right? Or because it will be having limited earning, rather than what you can do, you can sell it to India, you can sell it to America, you can sell it to Europe, and you can earn a lot of money. And then maybe a certain period of time, that maybe 10 years time or 2 years time or 3 years time or 5 years time, whatever, right? And then, but as long as you are having the right, like 20 years, you can have monopoly. But once once the tenure is over, then it will be in public domain. And therefore in pharmaceutical industry, let me tell you my friend, pharmaceutical industry में उनके जो पेटेंट होते हैं, जब भी वो एक्सपायर होते हैं ना, उसके एक दिन पहले से उनकी प्रोसीजर शुरू होती है. So the moment that is expired, on very second moment they are going to file the another patent. That is very, very important. Otherwise there is a lot of significant competition in pharmaceutical, otherwise there would be another pharmaceutical company and he can claim that patent later. Okay, who looks after all these? Let me tell you. Worldwide, let me tell you, every country has their own IP management system. World Intellectual Property Organization, जैसा WHO है ना, वैसा ही है WIPO है. This is a global forum for intellectual property services, policy, information. इसका headquarter Geneva में है. There are certain important milestones, let me tell you, because there was, as far as Universal Declaration of Human Rights was concerned, Article 27 was related to intellectual property, and then the very first convention on intellectual property was held in Paris in 1883. उसके बाद में 1886 में हुआ, and then since last many years, April 26 we started organizing World Intellectual Property Day. So there is kind of awareness creation and kind of milestone in the area of intellectual property. As far as India is concerned, this is the website. You can note down this website, www.ipindia.nic.in, through which you will get what kind of offices you have. We are having 4 different offices: Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and Kolkata. You can see the jurisdiction also. As far as Mumbai is concerned, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Chhattisgarh, these are the states which comes under Mumbai Patent Office. Like for example, if you want to submit your patent, you can go to Mumbai. But as far as copyright is concerned, you need to go to Delhi, because you cannot submit copyright to Mumbai office. As far as this is very, because from Chandrapur and for your place, this is very close. Rajiv Gandhi National Institute for Intellectual Property Management, which is located in Nagpur. This is the only institute across the country which is providing regular training. This is a training center, right? And this training are very expensive. You can have 1 week training, 2 week training, maybe 2 days training. They're having different packages, and those, if you really want to have a kind of expertise and credential in terms of IP and how IP can be filed, I would advise you to go to this institute and have some short-term courses. There are some international treaties as well. If you really want to enrich yourself, you need to know those treaties also. This convention, as I mentioned earlier, 883, Berne Convention 886, and there are different conventions as well. Out of that, you need to know like what those international treaties are if you really want to draft your own patent. There are some IP laws, as I mentioned earlier. Copyright Act. There are this first Copyright Act was there, came into existence in 1957. उसके बाद में काफी amendment हुए. Patent Act 1970 में आया, उसके बाद में काफी amendment हुए. Design Act 2000, Trademarks Act 1999, जैसे मैंने बताया कि I have already mentioned. Geographical Indications भी 1999. Because today I'm not going to focus on all those aspects like design, trademarks, and geographical indication because of the the shortage of time. Okay, now you need to understand some. You should not forget these points about the patent. Patent is an exclusive right granted by government to the applicant and or his or her or their assignee. You can go ahead, you can have individual patent. Individual author can have the patent. Group of people can have the patent on their name, or you can assign somebody to have patent, right? But the only parameter is it should be new, non-obvious, and useful means it should have industrial application. Then patent right is granted, as I mentioned earlier, for 20 years. It gives a territorial right and can be enforced only in the country where it has been granted. This you have to be very careful about this. Patent right enables the inventor to decide material benefits. मतलब आपके पास अगर एक बार पेटेंट आता है तो then you will be the exclusive owner of that. Patent right gives protection against the infringement and legal action can be initiated against the unlicensed exploitation. As I mentioned earlier, किसी ने अगर आपका पेटेंट, आपकी आइडिया चुराई, प्रोडक्ट जो आपका पेटेंट है किसी प्रोडक्ट पे और किसी ने उसको कमर्शियली बेचना शुरू किया, you can go to the court of law and you can file the case. Provided right is protected from the terms of the patent, provided that the renewal fees is paid as prescribed. So every year. So that is why it's not a patent. Let me tell you, my friend, maintaining patent is again very, very important. Unfortunately, in India, most of the patents are not commercially viable. That is one of the very pathetic part of the story. Okay. So unless you have but still I would encourage you to go ahead and submit the patent, obviously. But the question is renewal fees. If you don't have any financial, viability of your patent, then how you are going to manage? Because every year you have to pay the renewal fees. Otherwise, it's going to be cancelled, right? Every year if you don't pay that. And most importantly, patentee should be his own policeman. It's not like, for example, I have patent. किसी ने उसका अगर प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में लाया तो पेटेंट ऑफिस उसके खिलाफ केस करेगा. No, it's not like that. You have to be very watchful. You need to see like what is happening elsewhere, and somebody is exploiting, somebody is unauthentically exploiting your patent. Then you need to go ahead. You need to go to the patent office and submit court of law. And file the case against him. Then only your right can be protected. That is very important. Now, let me tell you like these 3 criteria. I talked about 3 criteria. Novelty. Novelty means new. In other words, not known to public in any manner. This is something very different, right? थोड़ा डिफरेंट है क्योंकि जब हम पेपर पब्लिश करते हैं तो वहां पर नॉवेल्टी थोड़ा अलग टाइप्स की होती है. अलग टाइप की इन द सेंस वहां पर पैरामीटर थोड़ा अलग रहेंगे बिकॉज देयर द रिव्यूअर इज गोइंग टू सी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ लिटरेचर is published so far before that point of time. But here is something different, right? Novelty has to be assessed with respect to the priority date, the date of first disclosure. That is very, very important. That is why there are two ways to file the patent. One is the provisional patent, other is the complete specification. Because the reason is, if you are having something innovative idea with you, very innovative idea, okay, so don't wait for the result. क्योंकि आप अगर रिजल्ट का वेट करोगे तो somebody else may have that idea and he may go ahead of you. So what you need to do, you need to go ahead and file the provisional patent. That is what your priority date, the first date of disclosure. ओके अदरवाइज क्या होगा, आज के दिमाग में, आज जैसे कि मान लो आज आपके दिमाग में इनोवेटिव आइडिया आई है, एंड देन यू स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग, did experiment, got product, and then you thought of submitting patent. By that time somebody else has filed provisional patent. Forget about, he don't have device with him. आपके पास डिवाइस है, उसके पास डिवाइस नहीं है, लेकिन आपके डिवाइस के पहले उसने प्रोविजनल पेटेंट फाइल किया है. So he is going to be ahead of you. So therefore the prior date, the date of first disclosure, so this is what is very important. And whenever you are having innovative idea, like the following parameters are going to be tested for novelty. Prior publication, मतलब ऑफिशियली कहीं पब्लिश हुआ क्या, prior public knowledge, मान लो आपने, जैसे कि मान लो मैंने फाइल किया, so there will be public notice. पेटेंट ऑफिस क्या करेगा, पब्लिक नोटिस इशू करेगा, कहेगा कि भाई दिस XYZ पर्सन हैज फाइल्ड द पेटेंट, इज देयर एनीबॉडी हु इज हैविंग एनी ऑब्जेक्शन. तो आप जाकर ऑब्जेक्शन ले सकते हैं कि नो दिस आइडिया आई डू हैव, यू नो, आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग ऑन दिस एंड आई हैव सम प्रूफ दैट बिफोर हिज डेट ऑफ डिस्क्लोजर आई हैव डिस्क्लोज्ड दिस आइडिया, सो योर क्लेम इज गोइंग टू बी इन वैलिड. And therefore you need to be very sure whenever you are having innovative idea, don't disclose that in public. Don't make, you have to ensure that it is not in public use. Don't display it, right? Student बहुत बार गलती करते हैं कि भाई उनके पास अगर कुछ प्रोजेक्ट है इनोवेटिव लगा तो he or she is going to participate in many competitions, so it will be in public domain. If you are displaying it, it will be in public domain. So what my suggestion would be, if there are some student attending this webinar, for them my suggestion would be, if you are having innovative idea, आपके दिमाग में आइडिया आई, you go ahead and file the provisional patent first. Okay, lab आप experiment बाद में करिए, आप you file provisional patent so that date of first disclosure would be, you will be protecting your date of first disclosure, right? So this is very, very important as far as novelty is concerned, right? And as I mentioned earlier, discovery may pass novelty test but may not be patentable still. जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल दिया ना कि गुलाब जामुन है, पहले एग्जांपल दिया, गुलाब जामुन मीठा होता है हमें पता है, लेकिन आपने क्या किया, उसमें मिर्ची डाल दिया, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी न्यू, इट इज नॉवेल. गुलाब जामुन, मेरा गुलाब जामुन तीखा है, नॉवेल. बट वेदर इट इज नॉन ऑब्वियस, तो क्या होगा, जैसे मैंने पहले बताया कि नॉन ऑब्वियसनेस टेस्ट इज गोइंग टू बी कंडक्टेड बाय द पर्सन हु हैज गॉट एक्सपर्टीज इन दिस एरिया. ओके, तो जो एक्सपर्टीज जो सेफ रहेगा, आम आदमी के लिए तीखा गुलाब जामुन नॉवेल होगा, बस सेफ रहेगा तो वो क्या कहेगा, क्या बेवकूफ हो क्या. This is going to be tested differently because you have changed the ingredient, right? So it is obvious. If you are changing ingredient, test is going to be different. It is obvious. It's not non-obvious. So that kind of non-obvious test need to be. So you need to see whether whatever invention you have, whether it is non-obvious, right? So this is how the non-obvious test should be considered. And as far as non-obviousness is concerned, you need to understand scope and content of prior art. Prior art मतलब इससे पहले क्या scope था और क्या था. Assessing the technical results or economic value achieved by the claim invention. जो already invention है उसका technical result क्या है, उसकी economical value क्या है. I'm going to give you one example at the end of this. Differences between relevant prior art and claim invention. आपका जो claim है और prior art है उसमें क्या difference है. Whether is there substantial gap, whether that gap can be breached by ordinary person. क्योंकि जब आपका examination होगा, जब आपका पब्लिश तो हो जाएगा, बट whenever you will be going for examination, the patent officer, the expert, subject expert is going to see whatever gap is there, like prior art and your own claim, whether that gap is going to be breached by ordinary person, ordinary skill. If it is true, your patent is not going to be granted. So that you need to ensure right in the beginning. And as far as industrial applicability is concerned, as I mentioned earlier, industrial applicability is defined as the invention shall be capable of having industrial application. Means like whatever product you are talking about, whatever processes you are talking about, it should have some application. You need to show that this process can have this and this application. This product may have, this is the application area. Unless you prove this, your patent, you are not going to have the patent granted. So there are three criteria: novelty, non-obviousness, and industrial applicability. Now, what invention not patentable? What are the inventions which cannot be patented? Let me tell you some example. Invention that claims anything obvious to obvious or contrary to natural laws, like perpetual motion of the machine, right? अब हमें पता है कि state in which the moment or action is or appears to be continuous or unceasing is called as a perpetual motion. This is contradictory. क्योंकि हमें न्यूटन्स लॉ ने बताया कि ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. So if you are claiming like this, it's not going to be granted. Invention whose commercial exploitation could be contrary to public order or morality which causes serious harm to the human, like adulteration of the food. आप अगर फूड में कुछ adulteration करके टेस्ट बदलने की कोशिश करोगे, so that cannot be acceptable. Moreover, the mere discovery of scientific principle, जब जैसे कि आपको पता होगा बोसन पार्टिकल, एटलीस्ट whether you are from science or not, you are from science discipline or not, लेकिन 2012 में एटलास और CMS लेबोरेटरी ने जो एक्सपेरिमेंट किया बोसन एक्सपेरिमेंट बोसन पार्टिकल का, that you know, but that was predicted long back by Peter Higgs in 1964. But at that time उन्होंने theoretically propose किया था, right? तो पेटेंट नहीं ले सकते थे. But now they have somebody else have experimentally proven in 2012. So now they can be, I don't know whether they got patent or not, but whenever you have something in hand, in product form, that can only be patented, right? Claim for any scientific discovery, absolutely not. Even highest revolutionary scientific theory, कितना भी क्यों नहीं हो तो पेटेंट नहीं मिलेगा. However, such principle when result in substance, मतलब आपका scientific discovery है, उसका अगर एक product form में आप convert कर पाओ, whatever theory you have formulated, if you could convert that theory into product, then it can be patentable. Mere discovery of कुछ example और है. Mere discovery of new form of known substance, मतलब आपका known substance है, उसका form बदल दिया आपने, या तो आपने कुछ चेंज करके वो सब्सटेंस वही है उसकी प्रॉपर्टी चेंज कर दिया, दैट आल्सो कैन नॉट बी पॉसिबल. एक कॉमन एग्जांपल देता हूं आजकल का. हाइड्रोक्स की क्लोरोक्विन टैबलेट जो है, हमें पता है कि इट इज बीइंग यूज्ड टू प्रिवेंट और ट्रीट मलेरिया कॉज्ड बाय मस्किटो, राइट? दैट वी नो. But nowadays you must be knowing that India has substantially exported this tablet, this medicine to US and many countries, and we earn a lot of revenue out of that. But if the same combination is being used for treating COVID-19 patient, it cannot be considered as invention, right? And therefore it cannot be patented. This is just an example I have quoted. सिमिलरली जैसे कि हमारे पास वायरल लोग कहते हैं कि कोविड-19 ये वायरस है, इसके ऊपर वैक्सीन आएगा, लेकिन आई एम डाउटफुल. वैक्सीन शायद कभी आए. At present, आज रशिया के प्रोफेसर, I don't know whether he has joined because Russia has already claimed that they come up with vaccine. I don't know what is the reality because this is what we got from media. But let me tell you, my friend, the whatever viral infection we are having, we don't have any medicines, right? Even today. हमें जब सर्दी जुकाम होता है तो उसके लिए मेडिसिन नहीं है. इट्स इंक्यूबेशन टाइम फॉर 7 days. हम क्या करते हैं, मेडिसिन क्या पैरासिटामोल किस लिए थे, उसके साइड इफेक्ट सब्सिडाइज करने के लिए मेडिसिन लेते. अदरवाइज वायरस इज गोइंग टू बी देयर फॉर एटलीस्ट 7 days. दैट इज व्हाई डॉक्टर हमें एडवाइस करते हैं कि भाई बी एट होम, टेक रेस्ट, be away from other people, so that you can protect other people from virus because it's contagious, right? So it's going to be there for 7 days. वैसा ही इसका 12-13 दिन का incubation time है. So we never know whether it's going to come or not. But anyway, another example, like mixture of sugar with color. आपने मान लो एक शुगर लिया, पानी में कुछ कलर डाल दिया और आप कहेंगे कि सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक बना दिया. No, it can never be called as a new invention and cannot be patented. Then like arrangement and rearrangement of or duplication of known devices like umbrella with fan. आपने क्या किया, अम्ब्रेला है उसमें फैन लगा दिया, आप कहने लगे कि भाई ये एयर कंडीशनर है. नो. बकेट फिटेड विद टॉर्च. आपका बकेट है, जैसे देहात में लोग आपको पता होगा कि टॉयलेट की बाहर जाते हैं रातों के समय, और राइट, तो उन्होंने बकेट डिवाइस किया, उसमें एक टॉर्च डाल दिया एंड दे स्टार्टेड क्लेमिंग दैट दिस न्यू डिवाइस. नो. सिमिलरली न्यू फॉर्म ऑफ नॉन प्लांट. इम्प्रूव्ड सॉइल थ्रू फीडिंग फर्टिलाइजर. हमें पता है कि देहात मतलब खेती में हम फर्टिलाइजर फीड करते हैं, एज रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट वी कैन सी द इम्प्रूव्ड सॉइल, राइट? दैट कैन नॉट बी रेफर्ड एज इन्वेंशन एंड कैन नॉट बी पेटेंटेड. सिमिलरली ये तो मैंने पहले ही बताया आपको, लिटरली ड्रामेटिक, म्यूजिकल, आर्टिस्टिक वर्क, मेयर स्कीम ऑफ रूल, मेथड परफॉर्मिंग मेंटल एक्ट, प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, जैसे कि मैं अभी इंफॉर्मेशन प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ, इट कैन नॉट बी पेटेंटेड. मेरी स्टाइल में पेटेंट नहीं कर सकता. Topography of integrated circuit, invention affected by aggregation of traditional knowledge, that also cannot be then done. and Atomic Energy Act जो है, accordingly there are some areas in which you cannot have the patent, right? As far as the amount is concerned, the charges are concerned, whether it is provisional or the complete specification, you need to pay 1,600 rupees, only 1,600 rupees for individual, right? If you want to have the early publication, then 2,500. If you want to request for examination, another 4,000. So this is the only fees that you have to pay whenever you are submitting patent. However, if there are extra seat for initial 30 seat is free, but if more than 30 seat, 160 rupees per seat. And if there are more than 10 claim, for 10 claim it is free. More than 10 claim, then for per claim it is 320. So on an average, if you want to file provisional patent, 1,600 rupees. Complete specification, 1,600 rupees. Now let us go for, I'm going to tell you the glimpses of the drafting of the patent. So this was all awareness. I thought let me go beyond that and tell you like some tips for, but let me tell you, my friend, by listening only half an hour lecture, you will not be able to earn that kind of skills or expertise for drafting patents, right? So this is going to be a kind of awareness for you that this is not a difficult job. This is not an impossible task, right? This is what my message is going to be. So kindly take in that fashion. So what is filing patent? The process of submitting an application in a patent office, requesting grant of patent to your invention is nothing but the filing of patent. If you wish to protect your invention in different countries, then you will have to submit patent application in each of those countries. There are various options for or approaches you may use to protect your invention in one or more countries. I am going to tell you what are those options. First of all, what you need to do actually, right? Every bit of information regarding your invention. So whatever invention you have, you please collect all the information with you. Every bit of information regarding specification. I'm going to tell you what is specification. In order to protect the priority date, this is what I have earlier suggested also. Again, I'm going to advise you. If you really want to protect the priority of any particular invention, there is a provision that any idea, even at its most premature level, can be filed. जैसे कि मान लो आप एक डिवाइस डेवलप करना चाहते हो, जस्ट प्रीमैच्योर आइडिया आपके दिमाग में है, that premature idea can also be protected. Let me tell you, you can go ahead and file a provisional patent. जैसे मैंने पहले बताया ना कि आज के डेट में आपके पास आइडिया आई, and if you start thinking of doing some experiment and later thinking of submitting patent, by that time क्या होगा, किसी के आप एक्सपेरिमेंट करते करते किसी को ध्यान में आएगा कि आप क्या कर रहे हो और उसी टॉपिक पे कोई प्रोविजनल पेटेंट फाइल कर देगा, then you are going to lose the novelty. And therefore you need to be very, very sure that whenever you have some innovative idea in your mind, go ahead and do the provisional, file the provisional patent. And then you are going to have 1 year time, right? Once we are having complete information regarding invention, you can go ahead and do the file the complete specification. क्योंकि आपके पास the provisional के specification submit करने के बाद कम से कम 1 साल रहेगा जब तक आप आपका patent file कर सकते हो. What are the options? Filing provisional patent application in India, complete या provisional or complete. Filing patent application in foreign country, convention filing. This is what you call as convention. आपको बाहर जाना नहीं है, करना तो यहीं पर है, तो उसको हम convention filing कहते हैं. और you can do patent cooperation treaty, PCT. अगर आपको एक बार मान लो under PCT, you can file your patent under 170 country, almost approximately 170. मतलब आपको अगर आपका jurisdiction 170 country का jurisdiction आप करना चाहते हो, तो then you should go ahead and do the PCT. और convention में there are, because there is a convention, right? Convention countries, there are like around 10 countries which comes under convention. आप अगर convention category में file करोगे तो jurisdiction वो 7, 8, 10, 12 countries रहेंगे. PCT में all those countries, more than 100, I don't remember the exact number, more than 100. Or you can go ahead and file the ordinary file that only jurisdiction you want to be in India only. Filing provisional patent, let me tell you more about the provisional patent. Provisional patent application is filed to secure priority date for your intention. इन्वेंशन. दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपका जो प्रायोरिटी डेट है उसको सिक्योर करने के लिए सबसे पहले हम प्रोविजनल पेटेंट, अदरवाइज दूसरा कोई मतलब नहीं. Priority date is the date on which the first patent application for invention is filed. जैसे कि आज आइडिया आई, कल आपने प्रोविजनल पेटेंट फाइल करने के लिए आप ऑनलाइन फाइल कर सकते हो. उसके लिए आपको किसी पेटेंट अटर्नी की जरूरत भी नहीं, किसी की भी जरूरत नहीं, टेक्निकल एक्सपर्ट की जरूरत नहीं है. आप आज के जो इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा हूँ, ऑन द बेसिस दैट इंफॉर्मेशन आल्सो यू शुड हैव योर ओन डिजिटल की, एंड दैट्स इट. यू कैन, इफ यू आर हैविंग टुडे digital key with you and some innovative idea with you, next moment within 10 to 15 minutes you can go ahead and file your provisional patent. That would be your priority date. That will be a prior date of first date of disclosure. The date is important because knowledge available in public domain before priority date is referred as prior art. This is very very important. Prior art का जो concept क्या है कि आज के डेट में, जैसे मैंने फिर से रिपीट करता हूँ कि मान लो मैं एक दिन अगर पीछे रह गया, मान लो आज मैंने मेरे दिमाग की जो आइडिया मेरे दोस्तों के साथ मैंने डिस्कस की, right, and my friend is wise enough to file provisional patent today only, and then tomorrow I started filing provisional patent, is not going to be novel, because today I will be filing tomorrow, my friend has filed that provisional patent today, so that is going to be prior art and I will be losing novelty. That need to be very this issue need to be tackled very seriously. If you delay filing patent application, then naturally more knowledge in the public domain gets added to the prior art, and hence decreasing the probability of patent grant to your invention. So therefore, there is a significant importance of filing provisional patent. As far as complete patent application is concerned, complete patent application has to be filed in the patent office in India if you wish to protect your invention in your in India, jurisdiction of India. Complete patent application can be filed in the first place, मतलब आप directly भी कर सकते हो. Otherwise, अगर आपने provisional patent पहले file किया हो, तो then after 12 months, like if you let us say January 2020, if you have filed the patent, provisional patent, then January 2021, before January 2021, you have to file your complete specification. Otherwise, your claim is going to be invalid. Filing convention patent application can be filed using this option. Again, convention means what? Instead of one country, there will be a group of countries, right? There are also same option. You can go ahead and do the provisional, and after 1 year, you can do you can file the complete specification, or today itself you can file the complete specification. As far as PCT is concerned, what does the PCT means? Patent Corporation Cooperation Treaty. This assists applicants in seeking patent protection internationally for their invention, help patent offices with their patent granting decision, and facilitate public access to wealth of technical information relating to those inventions. It means what happens? Like, let me read last line. By filing one international patent application under PCT, applicants can simultaneously seek protection for invention in larger number of countries. Whatever the group is there, let us say more than 100. So by single application, your jurisdiction would be those many countries. Of course, the charges would be more. Now let us talk about the specification. So there are two different kinds of specification: provisional specification and complete specification. Now what is basically a specification? Let me tell you something about that. Patent specification is a document through which an inventor discloses the details of his invention to the patent office. मतलब क्या है? Specification मतलब क्या है? उसकी details disclose करना, nothing else. I'm going to show you my own example, right? Patent specification is a techno-legal document. Techno-legal document, it is going to have a technical document, legal document as well. And therefore, my friend, let me tell you, we could be good in techniques. Like we could be good in, like, let us say I come up with one sensor device, right? So I'm having expertise in the sensor, but I may not be having expertise in drafting legally, right? So will be having some problem. So if I'm still trying to draft patent on my own, I will be having some problem, right? So you need to remember that this is the language used in patent specification has a combination of technical and legal jargon. It's not only technical, it's a combination. So therefore we need to be very sure about that. What is patent drafting? It is the drafting of specification that constitute the everything of patents. Now what is that? It's really heavy. Yes, it is true. We should be very, very, very careful. Most critical step in filing patent. poorly, let me tell you, you need to be very clear about this. Poorly drafted specification can lead to revocation of your potential claim. मतलब आपका अगर ड्राफ्ट सही नहीं है, आप जो क्लेम कर रहे हैं वो क्लेम भी कैंसिल हो सकता है. Because whenever you are claiming, we are writing claim is not only technical language, it is a legal language. आप एक claim से नहीं चलेगा आपको, क्योंकि आप अगर एक claim करोगे, so the other person is going to file the patent on the same device with different claim. Let me tell you, my friend. So you will be handicapped. You will be handicapped. So all possibilities need to be explored, and technical हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि legally कितने languages में same claim को हम represent कर सकते हैं. So therefore, that is why there are more number of claims, right? Claim that is not strong may be granted patent only because of good judicial land drafting. मतलब अगर आपका technical उतना strong भी नहीं रहा, but if your judicial language is very correct, very strong, although it is weak, still it can be granted. Therefore, more than technical documentation, it must be remembered that it is a techno-legal document that you need to remember. And therefore, all tightening or sharpening tools need to be exploited, explore before we go for the filing patent. So there are two more points. What is invention? I already mentioned, but still let me repeat it again. Invention means a new product or process involving an inventive step and capable of industrial application. That is very, it's not only new, it should have industrial application. So it could be fundamental research, or it could be improvement of existing art. It could be, you could be solving unsolved problem, or it could be like different approach. You will be having different approach. Now, what is public domain? Public domain का मतलब क्या है? Like known to the person in the art, मतलब आप जो concept बता रहे हैं वो किसी को पता है, right? Common general knowledge is available in public knowledge. It could be in the published form, or it need not be in published form, right? There is a person who has got substantial proof, knowledge of that, the invention which you are talking about. He can go ahead and he can challenge your claim, right? Because it is always going to be in public notice. And whenever he is doing that, you are going to be in trouble. And therefore, before you start, you need to understand what is invention, whether you are talking about product or process, whether your invention is patentable, whether it has got novelty, whether it is inventive, and whether it is prior art, prior disclosure, whether somebody has disclosed, you forget about somebody, whether you have disclosed it orally, whether you have printed earlier, whether you have displayed in the public in front of any audience, or whether you have asked somebody to use before you file the patent. So this need to be asked. And therefore, before you go for, again, I would like to advise you to conduct search. This is the search. So you can write this ipindiaservices.gov.in. This is one of the patent search website. Like whenever you are drafting patent, first of all, you need to search so that you can, at least the novelty search can be one aspect. This is like one aspect of novelty search. Then at least the problem in the prior art, whatever prior art is there, you at least the problem. What is the problem sought to be solved by your invention? Invention means abhi whatever knowledge is there, whatever devices are there in the public domain, what are the problems, what are the limitations, whatever device you have come up with, what kind of the gap what are the gaps, and whether you will be able to bridge that gap, what kind of novelty you have, is the solution is obvious, because this is also very important, has the publication ensure, and unless you do this, you should not go ahead. And you should be very strict to your own examination, because you need to be very strict own examiner. You need to do very serious viva analysis of your own invention. Bring out toughest examiner inside yourself, and ask yourself whether your invention is patentable. And because you are going to be the best person to know your invention. If you don't do this, be ready to waste the money. Because otherwise, if you are not sure about all these questions, then you are going to waste your time, as well as you are going to waste your energy. You are going to waste the money as well, because it's not going to be granted. Now, if you are ready, then you can start. Now, what is mean by filing patent? There are three different forms. Form 1 is always to apply Control General patents for grant of patent. This is just an application. Form 2 is the actual provisional or complete specification, and Form 3 is undertaking. And this is the if you really want to have the guidelines. This is the website www.ipindia.nic.in, on which you can get the more information. This is the format of provisional specification. You can see title of invention. This is the form number 2. This is very, very critical. Form 1 and 3 are just an information. Form 2 is a real face job you will be doing. Title of invention, applicant name, nationality, address, preamble of the preamble to the description, and then what is from next page, field of invention, background of invention, object of invention, general statement of actual invention, and most importantly, claim is not going to be required. So this is what the format. I'm going to show you my own example. This is the format of provisional specification. Now let us see provisional specification. I have already mentioned about this. I'm going to tell you what are the advantages to get the priority for the this also we have already discussed. Let me skip those slides. Now this is a real example. So I said title is the first. First you should start with the title. This is the actual patent which we have filed, and so far it is published, already published. This is the title. And annunciator for pernicious presence of ammonia in air. This is the application. Myself is applicant. There are many inventor. These are my students who are inventor with me. And then preamble. What is preamble? You have to write just like this. The following specification describes the invention. Then description. What is this? The field of invention. What is this? This invention is related to the development of a smart alarm annunciator that is designed to sense ammonia in ambient atmosphere, and then blah blah blah. So this is the field of invention you have to write. The next is background of invention. Ammonia, you can see I'm not going to read entire thing, but one statement I'm going to read. Ammonia detection gadget devices that are available in market. You can see whenever you are talking about background, you need to see like what is there in the background. Available in the market are mostly based on electrochemical sensor and or metal oxide sensor that have higher power consumption than the device being exposed, and also the commercially available devices are costly. So these are some of the issues I am talking about in the prior art. Then this is object of invention. These objects are going to be very, very important because this is provisional specification, and whenever you will be filing your the complete specification, these objects are going to be very, very important to have the claims. Therefore, you can see I'm going to read only first object. The principal object of this invention is to propose low-cost device that can detect the presence of ammonia at the pernicious level at 35 ppm as defined by OSHA. So like that, we have the 3 different objects, and then this is the statement of invention. Next is ammonia sensor available in the market are too much costlier, like this. So again, in the statement of invention also, we are going to highlight what are the issues of present art, prior art, and what are the gaps and how we are going to bridge the gap. Okay, and then this is what the provisional patent draft is. And once you submit, you are going to have this kind of receipt. This is what we have filed in the year 2017, you can see. And then in 2018, we have filed the complete specification. So earlier we went ahead and filed the provisional patent, and then we went ahead and filed the final specification. It was in 2018. You can see it was filed because you can see the date of first filing was January 2017. Complete specification were filed in January 2018, and then it took almost 5-6 months for the publication. Now we are waiting for the the examination. We are going to submit the fees for the examination, and then they will be calling us for examination. Now, as far as the complete specification is concerned, what the complete specification, I'm not going to tell you the details, but I'm going to tell you some glimpses, 2 to 3 slides, last 2 to 3 slides. The complete specification will have, it should have fully, and it should be fully and particularly described innovation. In complete specification, in the provisional, you are not going to describe totally. It's kind of very brief information about what you are going to have. You are going to highlight what are the shortcomings of prior art, and then you are going to mention how those gaps can be breach by your invention, a small, like very preliminary information. But as far as complete specification is concerned, you have to give full information of what kind of invention you have. You should disclose the best method for performing invention which is known to the applicant. I mean, whatever invention you have, what kind of methodology you have used, that need to be mentioned very thoroughly. And then whatever claims you have, because that is also very important, all claims need to be mentioned in complete specification. And this is the format. I'm going to tell you only format because I don't have adequate time to go through the details. You can see this is the format of complete specification: title of invention, applicant's name, nationality, address, preamble. Preamble is going to be this only: the following specification particularly describes the nature of this invention and the manner in which it is to be performed. And then on next page you have to start, because technically you cannot start from the same page. You have to go to the next page, and then from next page you can see here you have to give the details of field of invention. You remember now, here you have to give them all those details: prior art and its drawback. That means what kind of devices are there, all those devices you need to mention, what kind of shortcomings of the devices you need to mention, background of invention with regard to prior art, means how you come up with the idea, like with respect to the gaps, how you come up with this idea. Then statement of invention, how those gaps, whatever gaps you identified, how those gaps you are going to bridge here. And the brief description and referencing of accompanying diagram, drawing. Whatever the drawing you will be having, that need to be described in detail, very specific. There is some specific format of giving drawing, all those labeling and description of all those labels. Then detailed description, as I mentioned, advantages of invention, what kind of advantages you have, and then what are the claims. This part is going to be very important. It's not going to be only single claim. There will be series of claims, because if you are having only single claim, it will be very difficult to protect your invention. So you should have at least 10 to 15 claim of single invention. And then if you are having description, the detailed drawing was there, here you can give the additional drawing, and then abstract of the, here you can give the abstract, the what in abstract, whenever you are talking about abstract, you need to mention what you have done, how you have done, and what you have achieved. There is very smart. I mean, it should be very effectively written. It should not be too much lengthy. There should be 3 paragraphs in the abstract. 1 paragraph will describe what you have done. In second paragraph will describe how you have done, and third paragraph will describe what you have achieved. So this is how the complete specification can be filed. And in summary, let me tell you, my friend, because I have taken a lot of time, intellectual property rights provide exclusive right to the inventors, provide legal defense, and offers them incentives of their work, help in social and financial development as well. And let me tell you, my friend, honest, committed and focused efforts are always required for skillful drafting of patents. Because if you are not honest, if you are not committed, if you are not focused, your energy is going to be wasted, your time is going to be wasted, you are going to waste your money, because your patent is not going to be granted. And therefore, thoughtfully drafted patents will always lead to a quality document which will have novelty as well as societal relevance as well as industrial applicability as well, and it can be easily accepted. And with this, I'm going to stop here with a wonderful quotation of Steve Jobs: great things are never done by one person, they are done by a team of people. And same thing is applicable here as well. Whenever we are talking about innovation, whenever we are talking about invention, whenever you are talking about whatever, research, it's a team activity, it's a group activity. Unless you have a group, unless you have a team of people working together, you cannot have the miracle. And if you are having the team of people working together, miracle is bound to happen, and you are bound to get appropriate rewards. With this, I would like to once again thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences. And I would like to thank all the audience for your patience listening. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Naresh Patel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sisat sir, for sharing this valuable information to all of us. Thank you very much once again. Today's keynote speaker, Mr. Samrat Roy, has joined with us.
Okay.
Shirsat sir. Shirsat sir,
Yes, sir.
please review your screen. Screen sharing
Okay.
option. Screen sharing option, sir.
Now I
Okay.
introduce
I have stopped now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Screen sharing option stop.
Yes, I have stopped. Already stopped now. Now it is over to you. You can share your screen now.
Now I introduce today's international conference keynote speaker, Mr. Samrat Roy. I take pleasure inviting an innovator and entrepreneurship developer to this conference, Shri Samrat Roy. He is currently doing research in economics in Peter the Great St. Petersburg Polytechnic University in Russia. He is a man of strategic approaches, focused on developing social entrepreneurship. He has made many women communities established as social entrepreneurs who are contributing to the respective nation's GDP. Previously, he served as a consultant corporate trainer and lectured to various key organizations in India, Middle East, and European countries. I request Mr. Samrat Roy to give the keynote address to us. I hand over to Mr. Samrat Roy, sir. Hello, Mr. Samrat Roy, sir.
पाटील सर जॉईन झाले आहेत का सम्राट रॉय सर?
Oh,
दिसत नाही आहेत म्हणजे कोणते याचे नाही.
hello, Roy, sir. Are you audible? Hello, Roy, sir.
कुठं आहे?
Are you audible?
एक मिनिट नाही रॉय सरांचं ऑडिओ कनेक्ट नाही झाला आहे. सरांना म्हणा ऑडिओ कनेक्ट. सर हा आता एक मिनिट. हा ओके सर ओके. रॉय सर.
Roy, sir, continue the session.
Samrat Roy sir, can you hear me? Roy sir?
Roy, sir, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
Roy sir, please connect your audio. Unmute your audio, sir. Roy sir. No, sir. Your audio is disconnect. Sir, connect your audio. You are connected, but you are unmute. Please, एक minute. Yes, sir. Sir, Roy sir. पाटिल सर
आवाज नहीं आ रही उनकी.
नहीं आवाज नहीं आ रही उनकी. वो ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं लेकिन उनका वीडियो और ऑडियो नहीं दिख रहा है. आ भी नहीं रहा. ऑडियो तो बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहा उनका.
उनको स्क्रीन पे लो.
स्क्रीन पे तो लेकिन वो यही नहीं कर रहे ना. वो कुछ बोलेंगे तो स्क्रीन पे आ जाएंगे नहीं क्या?
Rai sir already in screen, but he is not audio.
Yes.
सर हे आपलं पाटील सर
बोला.
नेक्स्ट घ्या आपण पाहू मग तोपर्यंत सरांचं काही ऍडजस्ट होते काय तर.
Dear delegates, finally, I take a great opportunity to invite Dr. Savita Mishra ma'am, Principal Vidyasagar College of Education, Fansideva, Darjeeling, West Bengal, to our international conference. Dr. Savita Mishra is the Vice President of the Council of Teacher Education, Eastern Zone on International Organization in Teacher Education field. She has 70 years of teaching experience in teaching education. Thousands of teachers are groomed. Dr. Mishra ma'am is also an academic counselor and guide of IGNU since a decade. Dr. Savita Mishra is a reviewer, editorial board, and advisory committee of many national and international journals. Devoted social worker. I request Professor Savita Mishra ma'am spark us on this occasion. I hand over to Dr. Mishra ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Are you audible, ma'am?
Yeah, I am audible. My voice is audible, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
I am not seeing myself in my screen. Are you seeing me in your screen? Am I visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to congratulate organizing team of both colleges, Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha, and Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Lupus, Chandrapur, for jointly organized this international conference on intellectual property rights. I would like to thank Professor Naresh Patil, sir, convener of seminar, for inviting me as a resource person. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnav, Madam, Principals of both colleges, Dr. Chanduki Popetka, sir, and Dr. Chandrasekhar Kumbarisha, Resource Person Samrat, sir, Dr. Mahendra Sarnath, sir, students, alumni of both colleges, all members of organizing team, and dear participants. A very good afternoon to you all. Today, I have to present on topic Art of Writing High Impact Factor Research Paper. Sir, can I share my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute, sir. Abhi, just a minute, sir. I'm not able to share my screen now. Just a minute, sir. स्क्रीन शेयर कर दो ना पावर पॉइंट just a minute, sir. I'm not able to share.
Ma'am, please click on screen share option and click on desktop.
Yes, sir. Yes, just a minute, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, dear participants, today I'm going to present a very interesting and important topic, Art of Writing High Impact Factor Research Paper. It sounds very much high impact factor. But for the very beginning, I want to be very clear that if your article is not published in high impact factor journal, please don't get depressed. It does not mean that your article is not good. Your article is not appreciable. It is due to because your article is not listed in JCR, Journal Citation Reference. That's why you have no impact factor research paper. But today I am going to tell you how you published your research article in high impact factor journal. I will get you idea that you can publish your journal in the high impact factor paper. So first of all, I will tell you the what is the research. Research is purposely and methodically search for new knowledge and practical solutions in the form of answers to questions. All of you know that research means search again and again, a phenomenon of finding something unexpected and useful when you are looking for something completely different. Then how does research develop? Identification of research problems. So first, when we start the research, we have to think about the research problem. Then we will go for the literature review, search for the literature in this topic, who has done in this topic. And for this, we have to go the library. Now internet facility is available. You can go the so many that web is available for the literature review. Then you have to define your problem. And after that, you collect your data. There are so many methods of the data collection. I'm not going in detail because my purpose is to publish your paper in the high impact factor journal. So you know how to do research, what are the types of research, what are the methods of research. I'm not going in that part. Then data analysis and interpretation and writing and evaluating the research. Why is research so important? Because every time you heard that he is doing research, she is doing research, but why? What is the important? For gathering information so that existing problems can be solved. Doing research, we are able to make smart decisions, understand well exactly what we are researching, improve knowledge about the subject. Then purpose of writing research paper. You must have seen that many persons have done research in different area, but he or she has not a single research paper. He has done MPhil, PhD, and so many things, but he has not published a single research paper. Why? There is a big question. So, what is the purpose of writing research paper? To communicate new research findings. What you are getting findings from your research that you have to communicate with the society. Otherwise, what is the use of doing research? What is the use of doing so much hard work? Thus, it has to be clear, simple, and well-ordered communication to transmit new research findings. A good research paper is the one that easily conveyed your idea to the reader. Why do we need writing research paper? Knowledge is lost without written records. You must have seen that if you read anything or if you heard anything and if you don't write, so written records is very much necessary for the knowledge that convey from one person to the another. Knowledge could not be widely circulated with no effective duplication. However, the most dreadful part of the research paper writing is the fear of rejection. You must have passed through this dilemma. Whatever you write, however good it is, but this fear always entraps your mind from the beginning till the end. Dear participants, here I want to share my experience. Before 15 years, when I was writing my first research paper, I have done that research in the MA and I was writing. that was not published in any journal. And it surprised me why it is not published. This is my first research. It is when written research, everything is written, everything is novel. What Mahendra sir has stated that you have to give the novel idea. So everything is new. Why it is not published in any journal? And then I research on that topic only, why it is not published in journals. And I am very proud to say that today I have 75 research paper publication in almost 10 plus impact factor journal. And it is only due to the hard work, dedication, and devotion. So my dear participants, writing research paper is not an easy task. It takes the continuous effort. It needs your dedication, devotion, and hard work. So that always you have to fear that it will be published or not. But believe me, if you write honestly, it will be published in the high impact factor journal. Then I will share with you the tips for writing research paper. Think the regions of publication of your work and whether it is publishable. What we had done mistake, like I'm sharing that my experience. What I had done mistake.
Mishra ma'am, please unmute your mic. I will.
Ishita ma'am, unmute
Mishra
your
ma'am,
mic.
please unmute your mic.
Hello. Unmute your mic. आवाज नहीं आ रही, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही. अनम्यूट करा, अनम्यूट कर दो.
मैं करता रुको, मैं करता रुको. नहीं हो रहा. हाँ, हो गया.
हाँ, आप आ रही है आप मेरी आवाज?
Yes ma'am, yes.
हाँ.
Yes, continue.
Then I was, yes, thank you. So I was sharing with you the tips of writing research paper. What I has done mistake, we never think about the research journal and all that. We had wrote the research and then searching for the publication, and it was very difficult. So my suggestion, dear participants, you first search the journal, in which journal you are going to publish, and ask yourself, is your work new and interesting? Do you have anything challenging in your work? Is your work directly related to the current hot topic? Will you solve some difficult problems if we work? Because if your article is not new, then it will not be published in anywhere. Just a minute. Hello, PPT is not moving. Just a minute. Abe. PPT अटक गया. ऐसे कोड नहीं आता. अच्छा ठीक. Okay, sorry for interruption. So if your answer is yes to on these questions, you can proceed with your research writing for high impact factor journals. Choose your target journal of high impact factor for publication. Know the journal requirements. Follow the guidelines regarding publication, layout, citation of references, how to submit your paper, publication fees, and guidelines regarding ethical publication. What happens, sometimes we submit our publication to the research journal and they are charging high fee. Now you can must heard that UGC listed journal and UGC care list. This UGC care list has demanding so much fees nowadays. And after some, this is my very bitter experience, that you have published your article in UGC care journal or UGC listed journal, and sometimes you heard when you go for the interview and we go for some job, then you heard that your article is not in the UGC listed journal. That journal is out from the UGC listed journal. This is very common. So you have to very careful about in which journal you are publishing your article. Then know how to format your paper, because every journal has their own format. One of the serious ethical issues in research paper writing is plagiarism. But Mahendra sir has also told that plagiarism checking is the must nowadays. It is stealing work from the other authors without giving them their due reference. So it is not bad that you are taking some thing from the other. You can take, no problem, but you have to cite their name, cite the references appropriately whenever required. Whatever you are giving in the text, you must cite the references, otherwise it comes under the plagiarism. Then we are talking about the impact factor. What is that? The impact factor is a measure of frequency with which the average article in the journal has been cited in a particular year. It is used to measure the importance or rank of the journal by calculating the times its articles are cited. The top 5% of journals have impact factor approximately equal to or greater than 6 by JCR, Journal Citation Reports. This reports only given the list of the high impact factor. And the high impact factor, that it is mostly said that above 5 plus, or it go up to 20, 50 in some medical journal. You have must see in some engineering journal, some NASA's journal. You have seen that impact factor is 30, 50. But in educational journal, in psychological journal, we maximum that see that it is 10 plus or 6 plus, 8 plus. So it ranging from 0 to 10 plus. But again, participants, I am again telling you, if your article is not published in high impact factor, it does not mean that your article is not good. It is a matter of chance that in which journal you are publishing your article, that journal is under the JCR or not. That's why I am telling you again and again, before publishing the research paper, you have to search for journals. At the last, I will give you some journals name, high impact factor journals names, in which you will publish your article. Then research paper components. When you start research paper writing, it generally follow a conventional format that includes a title, an abstract, a reference section, or literature cited, and the components of IMRAD structure. Now, what is this IMRAD? Very simple. I means introduction. Introduction answers why you are doing this research, why you are doing this topic, what is your problem. Then M means methods, answers when, where, how much. What method you are adopting for the research paper, your population, sample, tools and techniques, everything comes under the methodology. Then results means what? After data collection, you have to analyze, interpret your data. Results and discussion comes under the R, results. And last, discussion. Answer, so what? Okay, you have done the research. You have that got findings. But what is the use of these findings? That you have to relate with the present day context. That essential parts of a good research paper. That is very simple, or every time we follow the title, the abstract, the introduction, methods, results, including tables and figures, the discussion and references. Then I will discuss one by one. What is the title and how should we write the title? A good title is defined as the fewest possible words that describe the contents of the paper. An improperly tightened paper will get lost and will never be read. If it is not attractive, if it is not catching the people, then it will be lost. Informative and specific, concise, understandable. It should be short, but it should be attractive. It should be meaningful. It should title is the main mirror of your paper. If you read the title, it shows you, it tells you what is inside the paper. So be careful to select the title, to write the title. And how to prepare the title. Make the list of the most important keywords. Because when you start the research paper writing, you have your study with you. Like suppose you have done one thesis or dissertation. So you have thesis with you have dissertation with you, everything. And from the dissertation, from the thesis, you start the writing research paper. So that thesis or dissertation, you make a list of the important keywords. Then think of a title of these keywords. The title could state the conclusion of the paper. But I told earlier that title must say what you are going to study, what you have done the study, what are your findings, everything title will going to say. Otherwise, it is useless. Then abstract. It should be written in a clear and simple words, as it is the first and sometimes the only part of the manuscript read. Because I am telling, when you want to publish in a very high impact factor journal, they first ask to send your abstract. That time they only say yes to your publication because to see the abstract. If your abstract is very attractive, very informative, very concise, then they will call your paper for publication. So it should provide a complete and significant ideas and information. Describe the methods used, summarize the results, and state the principal conclusions. It should not exceed 250 words. Generally, it is 150 to 250 words. It should be written in one paragraph only, because nowadays also I'm editing one book, and now till now edited for this book. I have given the format of writing the research paper, but still you of different formats. I am very sorry to say how the researchers are careless, how they are not following the format. If it is given the format, you write this way, you write those way, you like in Times New Roman, but still researchers are not following and they are submitting in their own way. And they are like abstract, they are writing in 2 or 3 paragraphs. So you should be very careful that always write abstract in one paragraph. Long words should be followed by its abbreviation, which would be used throughout the abstract or paper. Suppose information communication technology. So ICT, suppose you are writing ICT, information communication technology. So you should follow the same abbreviation throughout the abstract also and the throughout the paper also. It should never give any information or conclusion that is not stated in paper. After abstract, your paper will start. So if it's not in the paper, you should not include in the abstract. Abstract only those very important points, only write the very important, like method. You write in one sentence, descriptive method was adapted for the study. Sample 100 samples from this is taken from this from the this population. So you write in one words or one sentence these on things. Tools or instrument what you are using, you can write in one sentence. Findings, suppose your research articles have 10 findings, it is not needed to write on findings in the abstract. You only write the main findings of your study in the abstract. So abstract findings says everything about your paper's findings. So be careful about this. Then what you write in the introduction, after that introduction will start. The introduction should answer the following question. What was I studying? Why was this an important question? What did I know about the topic before did the study? What model was I testing? What approach did I take in this study? So every question, every answers of this question should be included in the introduction part. if your study is related to the achievement motivation, suppose achievement motivation and academic performance is your study topic, your research topic. So you have to write the background, known information, then you write must include the unknown information, hypothesis, objective, if objective is there, objective, hypothesis, research questions, and then a statement of the problem, your approach, plan of attack, and proposed solution. So everything you want to include under the introduction. And review of literature also you can include the introduction. After that, method. When you write the method, be precise, complete, and concise. Include only relevant information. Don't write unnecessary details, anecdotes, excuses, and confessions under methods. Detailed experimental procedures. Questions such as how or how much must be answered and not left to be puzzled over. Explains analytical techniques used. What techniques you are using for the data collection or interpretation, you have to describe little bit under the methodology. Then results. Sometimes you have must seen in the journal that they don't include the tables and figures very much. If they don't include, if they're asking such type of format, you don't include your tables and figures. But some journals are asking for the tables and figures, then you can include. So when you write the results or discussion, it is the core and heart of the paper. It needs to be clearly and simply stated, since it constitutes the new knowledge contributed to the world. What result will come from your study that will convey it to the society, to the nation, and to the world. Summarize and illustrate the findings in an orderly and logical sequence without interpretation. Only you write the findings point wise. So guide the reader through the findings, stressing the major points. Suppose, and when you write the findings, you must go back to your objectives. What objectives you have framed and what findings is coming. It is related or not. Otherwise, my dear participants, it will be rejected. It will be rejected if your findings are different and your objectives were different. So when you write findings, please go back to the objective and relate with your objectives and findings. Then tips on tables and figures. They are the foundation of your study. And figures and tables should stand alone and tell a complete story. When you see the figure of a research paper, you can easily say that what the researcher is conveyed to you. The reader should not need to refer back to the main text. Use the fewest figures and tables needed to tell the story. Do not present the same data in both the figure and the table. It is okay in dissertation on thesis, you can write, you can give the 25 figures, 25 tables, 30 tables, no problem. But you write the research paper for the journal publication, be concise. If you are giving the same data in the table, there is no need to again give figure on the basis of same table. So because your dissertation is like 100 page or 200 page, so it is very difficult to include every table and every figure in the journals. So be careful about this. Then after, when you write the research, then after that result, it becomes the discussion. It is the hardest section to write. Its primary purpose is to show the relationship among observed facts. It should end with a short summary of conclusion regarding the significance of the work. State your conclusions as clearly as possible. Summarize your evidence for each conclusion. Then after discussion, you give your reference. Sometimes your article is rejected from the journal due to the reference. Is it true or not? It is very much true. My article has rejected many times due to only the reference style of writing, or sometimes that person name is written in the text, it is not in the reference, or it is reference but it is not in the text. So be careful about the reference writing. Referencing is the standardized way of acknowledging the source of information and ideas that you have used in your document. A list of all the references used in the text must be written. Participants, be careful. I am emphasizing this. If the person name is in the text, you have to include in the reference. Otherwise, it will be rejected by all type of journals. Any papers not cited in the text should not be included. Reference lists allow readers to investigate the subject in greater depth. A reference list contains only the books, articles, and web pages that are cited in the text of document. Don't include anything in the reference what you have not taken in your text. References styling. There are so many references styling, but as I am education background, we will follow the only APA, American Psychological Association. This is for subject education, psychology, and the social sciences. If you belong from these subjects, so you can use the APA, American Psychological Association referencing style. But if you belong from the medicine, health, and biological sciences, you have to follow the AMA, American Medical Association. And next, Chicago, a common style used in everyday publications like magazine, newspapers, and books. MNA, that if you belong from the literature, then you have the American Language Association, Literature, Arts, and Humanities. Then one is more Turabian, which is generally used. Another common style designed for its universal applications across all subjects and disciplines. Then I focus on APA style because generally we following this, we generally for the social science and the education psychological people. The title of the page, name and institutional details you write. Then you write the abstract, summary of findings, concise, 150 to 250 words, written in an objective, impersonal style, fact approaches, few sentences. Then body, you write the headings, subheadings in text, citation of research sources, then reference pages. This is the APA style format. Then format of research paper. When you write the research paper, you have to be very careful about all these points. Top, bottom, and side margins of your paper at 1 inch. Be careful, 1 inch. Use double space text throughout the paper. Use a standard format such as Times New Roman, and some journal is also asking for the Arial. You can, if they are asking, you can do the Arial in a legible size, 2N font. Generally, we are doing the 2N font, but some journal is also asking for the 10 font. Use continuous pagination, page number, throughout the paper, including the title page and the references section. Page numbers appear first right within your header. Headings, born and running. Whatever researchers are doing now, I am also that giving the research paper, editing the research paper. They are writing the subheadings in all in uppercase. No, it should be both and running. Then the main parts will come, how the researchers publish. Now research paper is ready with you, dear participants. You have written a very good research paper. But what is the use of writing research paper if it is not published in the journal or books? Researchers publish and disseminate their work in many different ways, through formal publication in books and in learned and professional journals, through conferences and their proceedings, and through a variety of less formal meanings now, including web-based tools for social networks. You can, it is not necessary that always you can publish your research paper in journal. You can give for the national and international edited book also, that is also very API score, very high API score. Sometimes you can give that paper or present seminar or conferences on that paper, and it is published in conferences and webinars proceedings, that is also have the equal marks API score, very high API score. So don't always think that no, I have written a research paper, I have to publish in journal only. You can publish anywhere, it's your choice. Then journal of high impact factor. Impact factor, you know, that is very simple thing, that is a citation. Means how many times your article is will be cited, and it depends upon the criteria of the journal, quality of the journal, that which article from which journal or which journal is cited so many times. So that journal is called the high quality journal. I'm giving the few example of the high impact factor journal. I am giving the multidisciplinary, okay, because I don't know, you may belong from the medicine, engineering, psychology, sociology, social science, literature. So you can publish in these journals. These are the multilingual and multidisciplinary journals. So IOSR, International Organization of Scientific Research, both online and print, peer reviewed, plagiarism checked, auto plagiarism checked. Then impact factor is 7.426, high impact factor. One top 10 rank, highest citation journal, DOI. DOI is Digital Object Identifier. Each and every journal of high impact factor has their DOI, and this is the DO, because DOI is such that you can identify the journal citation and journal popularity. And this journal is top indexing. NASA adds Crossref, NADDN, CAS, Google Scholar, NNM Catalog, NX Database, IBSCO Host, Journal Informatics, Gate, Unbricks Web, and so many. I have not included this journal is cited, not where cited. Everywhere is this journal is cited. So you publish your article in journal, you got the very your article is cited very much, and you got the dot of, if you have the profile in ResearchGate, or if you have profile in the Google Scholar or Academia, so every day you got message that you are cited here, your article is cited there. So I must tell you that you must publish at least one research paper in this journal. I have my 5 research paper in this journal, and every day I'm getting messages from the researchers. I have my profile in ResearchGate and Google Scholar, so every day I am getting 2 or 3 messages from paper for this research papers. Academician, educationist from all over the world, I'm getting message about this research paper. So I must tell you that you have to go for it. I am here to help you. If you need any help for the publication or for writing research paper, that I am always ready to help you. Then next is IJSR, International Journal of Science and Research. That every has ISSN number. Obviously, journal has, so this is ISSN number, and this is also the high impact factor, that is 7.583. Peer reviewed, multidisciplinary. From, if you belong from any discipline, you can publish your article in this journal. Monthly journal, so 12 journal in 1 year, highly indexed, ResearchGate, high DOI, Crossref, everywhere it is also cited, highly indexed, highly cited, highly impact factor journal. Then third is IJRAR, International Journal of Research and Analytical Reviews, both print and that e-journal. And this is quarterly, means 4 in 1 year. And this is also high impact factor, that's 5.75, peer reviewed, UGC approved, multilingual. So you can publish your article in Marathi also, Bengali also, Hindi also. This is so many language this journal follow. And multidisciplinary. If you belong from commerce, management, no problem. From any discipline, you can publish your article in this journal. Google Scholar, and it is also high indexed, cited many places. Scopus, you must have heard the Scopus Elsevier. The Scopus Journal Analyzer provides a view of journal's performance enriched with 2 journal metrics, SJR, SCI Mago Journal Index. You must have heard like Q1, Q3. This is the SCI Mago. I will not go in detail, otherwise you will be confused. And SNIP, Source Normalized Impact Per Paper. These are the only that they are given the high impact factor to different types of journals. And you can, this is like what you say, this is what you say, that khajana. This is a type of khajana where you search any type of research paper. So if you go to a Scopus and if you search from any discipline, from any topic, you can get your article. Scopus is the largest abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature, scientific journals, books, and conferences proceedings in all disciplines. Over 15,000 journals from over 4,000 international publishers you can find in Scopus. And if you want to publish in Scopus that cited journals, I am also able to help you. I know so many journals editors that their journals are listed in the Scopus. Scopus indexed journals, these are the Journal of Critical Reviews, JCR multidisciplinary, and Advances in Mathematics Scientific Journal, and they are their URL. So you can go select, and it is available in internet also. It is very easy to search. So if you want to publish any type of journal, you just click and go to website. You can find the all details, publication fees, their citation, their impact factor, their indexed, everything you find from the internet. Nowadays, it is very easy to find the journals. And at last, I must say that my dear participants, my dear friends, there is not short way to success. Writing research paper needs dedication and hard work. Cherish your own work and make things easy for the journal editors to save their time. If your research paper is good, they need not time to edit edit your article, and they say yes in one time to publish your journal. And it is not a very tough task to publish journal. I said that I have more than 75 journal research paper in different journals, high impact factor journals. I have one research paper in that has impact factor 15. So it is not a tough work. And if it till now, if your research paper is not published in high impact factor, no need to worry. You start writing research paper. I am always here to help you. I will give you the journal name. I will give you help to how to write good research paper, high impact factor journals, and how to publish your research paper with very low cost. I know very journals, they publish your article free. They are the international journals, but they do not take any cost. That journal is also available in this one, that they will not take any charge for the publication, and they have the high indexed journal, Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and Academia, wherever you find that these journals are there. So if you are interested to publish a research paper, you can contact me. I can help you, no problem. Or it is very easy. You go to the website, everything is available there. So thank you, dear participants. Thank you so much. If you have any queries or questions, please welcome. Yes, sir. Ask participants if they have any question related this. Naresh, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable information related to research paper. Now I request to today's keynote speaker, Mr. Samrat Roy, sir. Are you here, Samrat Roy, sir? Hello.
नाही आहेत सर, ते लाईन मध्ये नाही आहेत.
नाही आहेत का?
नाही, ते त्यांचं कनेक्शन हे झालं बहुतेक.
कंटिन्यू करायचं?
हो सर, कंटिन्यू करा समोरचं, कारण नाही आहेत ते. बहुतेक त्यांचं हे झालं, जॉईन झाले होते, परंतु नाही झालं बहुतेक. त्यांचं हे नसेल होत. मी सर्च करत आहोत त्यांना, पण नाही आहेत ते. नाही आहेत सर. सर प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
So, now I would like to invite and introduce today's chairperson, Dr. Chandrasekhar Kumbare sir, principal of Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Guggus, Chandrapur, Maharashtra in India. May I request to Honorable Principal Kumbare sir to say a few words regarding this wonderful conference. Dr. Kumbare sir.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, audible sir.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello.
हा, येत आहे सर आवाज. येत आहे सर आवाज.
ओके ओके ओके. नमस्कार. कुंभलकर कॉलेज ऑफ सोशल वर्क, वर्धा, महाराष्ट्र, इंडिया, and Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Guggus, Chandrapur, Maharashtra, India jointly organize International Conference of Intellectual Property Rights, IPR. एक दिवसीय बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार से सभी सहभागी सदस्यों का काम है। महाविद्यालय की ओर से या और कुंभलकर कॉलेज ऑफ सोशल वर्क वर्धा की ओर से आप सभी का हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं एवं धन्यवाद करता हूं। कुंभलकर कॉलेज ऑफ सोशल वर्क के माननीय प्राचार्य डॉक्टर चंदू पोपटकर सर का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि दोनों महाविद्यालय का संगनमत से ये वन डे इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स IPR का आयोजन किया गया है। इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में जो रिसोर्स पर्सन्स हमें प्राप्त हुए हैं, उन जिन्होंने इस IPR इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी में सहभाग किए सभी सदस्यों का बहुमूल्य मार्गदर्शन किया है। डॉक्टर राजेश्री वैष्णव मैडम, जिन्होंने हमारे कॉन्फ्रेंस की शुरुआत की भूमिका निर्भर है और अपना मनोगत व्यक्त प्रदान किया है। बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण मनोगत था। डॉक्टर उनका मैं धन्यवाद करता हूँ। इसी तरह हमारे प्रमुख वक्ता सर ज्वाइन नहीं हो पाए, मिस्टर सम्राट राय, फिर भी उनका मैं तहे दिल से अभिनंदन करता हूँ। दूसरे हमारे मार्गदर्शक थे डॉक्टर महेंद्र सिरसाट सर, औरंगाबाद से है ये। सर आपने जो विषय रखा बहुत ही सुंदर रखा और बहुत ही अच्छा मार्गदर्शन आपने किया है, और आपका मैं महाविद्यालय की ओर से, दोनों महाविद्यालय की ओर से धन्यवाद करता हूँ। डॉक्टर सविता मिश्रा मैडम, ये वेस्ट बंगाल से है। संपूर्ण सहभागी सदस्यों का महत्वपूर्ण मार्गदर्शन किया है, जिनके भरोसे वन डे इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस यह सफल हुआ है। सभी सहभागी सदस्यों का भी शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, और हमारे महाविद्यालय के समन्वयक डॉक्टर रवि धारपवर सर और कुंबलकर कॉलेज महाविद्यालय के समन्वयक डॉक्टर प्राध्यापक नरेश पाटिल सर, इनका भी मैं अभिनंदन तथा धन्यवाद करता हूँ। इन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरह से वन डे इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का आयोजन किया है। सभी महानुभावों का वो आभार व्यक्त करते हुए मेरे शब्दों को विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumbare sir. Now I hand over the session to Dr. Ravi Dharpawar sir. Hello, Dharpawar sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you. Namaskar, I am Dr. Ravi Dharpawar, IQAC coordinator, Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Guguz, District Chandrapur, and convener of this program. Feeling proud to do the vote of thanks of International Conference Chintamani Mahavidyalaya Guguz, run by Sri Chintamani Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Ballarpur, affiliated to Gondwana University, Gadchiroli, organized one-day international conference on intellectual property rights with the collaboration of Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Wardha, affiliated to Nagpur University, Nagpur. Being organized, it is a great thing for me to do the vote of thanks for great dignities of this valuable program. First of all, I am very much thankful of our respective management for the support to make this program successful. So I am thankful of Honorable President Professor Shubhangi Vasantrao Duntulwar and Sri Swapnil Vasantrao Duntulwar, Honorable Secretary of Chintamani Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Ballarpur. I am very much thankful to Ms. Vanita Tai Kumbalkar, President of RTM Technical and Education Society, Nagpur, as well as I am very much thankful to Mr. Yugand Kumbalkar, Secretary of RTM Technical and Education Society, Nagpur. I would like to thank to the chairman of today's program, Dr. C.S. Kumbare sir, for your valuable guidance and speech. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude on behalf of our organization. So I would like to thank our inaugural person, Dr. Rajeshri Vaishnavi, head of the Postgraduate Department of Education, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, RTM, Nagpur University, Nagpur. Next, I would like to thank our today's keynote speaker. They can't join and get their valuable opinion, but no problem. They said to me, they sent their PPTs and presentation, and I will present the paper presentation seminar session. So thank you, Dr. Samrat sir. Then Dr. Next, I am gratitude to Dr. Mahendra Sirsat sir, Professor, Department of Physics, Head of Department of Electronics, Director of RUSA Center and Advanced Senior Technology, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Marathwada University. Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance to our respective participation. Next, I am thankful Dr. Savita Mishra, ma'am, Vice President, Council of Teacher, Education, Eastern Zone, Principal, Vidyasagar College of Education, Darjeeling, West Bengal. Next, I am thankful of our mentor and advisor of this program, the Principal of Chintamani Mahavidyalaya, Gugus, Dr. Chandrasekhar Kumbhare sir, and the advisor of this program, Dr. Principal of Kumbalkar College of Social Work, Dr. Chandu Popetka sir. Being the organizer, I am very much thankful of respective participation who have already take part in this international conference and submitted your paper and paper presentation. Without planning and without organization, we can't see any program successful. So I am very much thankful of our organizing committee of both of college, both of institutions. So I am gratitude to organizing committee of both of institutions and supportive staff members. I declare that today's conference is over with the permission of the president. I also go to this conference. The participating members have submitted their research paper presentations. Their research paper will be presented after this function. I request that participating member to be present and enjoy. Thank you. Thank you very much. पाटील सर अनम्यूट करा.
हाँ बोला सर.
याच्यानंतर आपण ते जे सम्राट सरांचे प्रेझेंटेशन आहे ते पाठवतो बोलले मी, तोपर्यंत त्यांना हे करतो आणि जे पार्टिसिपेंट जे आलेले आहेत त्यांचं आपण प्रेझेंटेशन सुरू करू. तर आपले जे सदस्य आहेत जॉईन झालेले ते एक लिव्ह करू शकतात मीटिंग मधून किंवा मग प्रेझेंटेशनला पण ते लाईव्ह मध्ये राहू शकतात. आपण आता प्रेझेंटेशन सुरू करू.
ठीक आहे ना,
नाही का? सभी पार्टिसिपेंट एक हे देऊन टाका, आपण प्रेझेंटेशन सुरू करून देऊ.
तुम्हीच सुरू करा. आता तुम्हीच बोला.
एक मिनिट, स्क्रीन ऑफ झाली माझी, कशामुळे झालं नाही. हॅलो 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 पाटील सर, आवाज येत आहे का?
हो हो बोला.
मी हे म्हणत आहे की आपण
कंटिन्यू करा ना, ते पेपर प्रेझेंटेशन कंटिन्यू करा.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर, नरेश सर.
हाँ बोलिए मैम.
हाँ, मैं रहूं कि जाऊं?
ठीक है, आप जा रिमूव हो सकती है. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो
Okay.
मच.
Thank you, ma'am.
सर मी पेपर प्रेझेंटेशन सुरुवात करतो.
Okay.
ठीक आहे.
हे वटाणे आणले, हिरवे वटाणे. मा ट्रायमध्ये जात नाही.
Hello, Dharapur sir.
जात नाही.
Hello, Dharapur sir.
सांगतो तुला मी. मी चालू त्याला सगळं जात नाही. आम्ही बोलायला थांबतो ना. त्यांना सोडून दिलं.
नरेश,
सोडून दिलं.
नरेश, 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 पाटील सर, आवाज येत आहे का?
हाँ सर.
पाटील सर, सर मेरा आवाज आ रहा है क्या आपको? हेलो, आई एम ऑडिबल? आएगा?
सूर्य सरांनो. आज आपली बैठक आहे ना घेऊन त्याच्या हॉलमध्ये घ्या स्क्रीनवर. हो नाही मोबाईलवर पण सगळेजण दिसले पाहिजे ना, म्हणजे तिथे सगळेजण एकत्र बसू. नाही इथं हॉलमध्ये बसू सगळेजण आपले. हॅलो.
हा सर, आवाज येत आहे का? हे
हो हो हो.
सर एक काम करा मॅडम, मॅडम हे असणार ना?
हा
हॅलो.
हा बोला ना.
मॅडम, मॅडम होस्ट आहेत ना सध्या? हॅलो.
हॅलो, आवाज येत आहे, बोला ना सर.
हा मॅडम, मॅडम होस्ट आहेत का म्हटलं सध्या?
मला नाही कळणार सर, दाखवते.
मिश्रा मॅडम होस्ट आहेत का असं म्हणायचं आहे मी. सर आपण हे इथेच थांबू. मी पेपर प्रेझेंटेशन साठी आपण उद्याला पेपर प्रेझेंटेशन करू सर, सर्व पार्टिसिपेंट.
थोड़ा हिंदी में बात करो और सब पार्टिसिपेंट को सूचना।
हाँ, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को एक निवेदन है कि आपके सभी के पेपर हम कल एक नया लिंक क्रिएट करके यूट्यूब के ऊपर लाइव करेंगे। ये आपके पेपर, क्योंकि पेपर हम आज नहीं दिखा पा रहे क्योंकि इधर मौसम बहुत पानी का बन चुका है और नेट बिल्कुल काम नहीं कर रहा है। इस वजह से हम आज के सेशन के जो वीडियो है वो कल आपको सेपरेट लिंक सेंड करके दिखाएंगे सर। तो आप सभी पार्टिसिपेंट को एक निवेदन है कि आप प्लीज आज का ये प्रोग्राम यहीं पे खत्म होता है। मैं ऐसा आप सभी लोगों से गुजारिश करता हूँ। थैंक यू सर। चला एवढं सारं झालं त्याच्यासाठी प्रॉब्लेम आला। सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को निवेदन है कि प्लीज आप मीटिंग से आओ सर। इनका
हेलो हेलो, धारापुर सर, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हेलो हेलो.
हाँ बोलिए
सर, उद्याला किती वाजता राहील?
उद्याला 12 वाजता स्टार्ट होईल.
ओके सर.
ओके
ओके. लिव्ह व्हायचं आता?
हो हो.
नरेश पाटील सर, आवाज येत आहे का?
हो हो हो.
तुम्ही आता होस्ट तुम्ही आहे, तुम्ही लिव्ह करा, पूर्ण मीटिंग लिव्ह होऊन जाते.
एंड करू का?
हा, तुम्ही लिव्ह होऊन जा, सगळी मीटिंग एंड होऊन जाते.
ओके 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 ओके.
हेलो हेलो, नरेश पाटिल सर.
हाँ बोलिए सर.
सर कल फिर कितने बजे शुरू होगा हमारा सेशन?
कल 12 बजे सेशन शुरू हो जाएगा, मतलब पेपर प्रेजेंट कर दिए जाएंगे, ऑनलाइन दिखाएंगे.
थैंक
ओके
जी.
ओके,
यही
थैंक यू वेरी
प्लेटफॉर्म
मच
होगा
एवरीबॉडी. क्या बोलिए सर?
यही प्लेटफॉर्म होगा कि फिर और कोई
अलग से लिंक देंगे बोला सर?
अलग से लिंक देंगे. जो भी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है, टेलीग्राम ग्रुप है, वहाँ सब लिंक शेयर की जाएंगे.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर.
थैंक यू वेरी मच.
जी सर.
सर लिव्ह करा सर.